Chapter 1672. However, this didn't matter. Knight Sorrow knew that there wouldn't be any conflicts. He was from the God-Devil Castle and so was Elder Nayland. Neither of them would leak any secrets. If they met outside the God-Devil Castle, they would use their identities to interact. Of course, it was easier to form a friendship. Elder Nayland had a high position in the ethereal city lord residence. If he could take care of Knight Sorrow, he would do the same. Knight Sorrow arrived at the entrance of the manor and cupped his hands towards Elder Nayland. Knight Sorrow greets Elder Nayland. Young and promising, truly young and promising. Elder Nayland continued to praise Yi Shang. He knew Yi Shang's age. For an emperor to be less than 200 years old, this cultivation speed was definitely legendary. In addition, Yi Shang not only had a high cultivation level, but his actual combat strength was also very strong. Knight Sorrow invited Elder Nayland to the VIP seats. At this time, the celebration officially began. There were two people hosting the celebration. One was Nine Domain World's Long Xianqing and the other was Reincarnation World's Qing Emperor. Knight Sorrow was from Nine Domain World and Long Xianqing gave a speech. Knight Sorrow was the representative of Reincarnation World and Qing Emperor gave a speech. After the speech, it was time for the invited guests to present their gifts. The one receiving the gifts was Hong Yi. Ethereal Imperial City's 7 prefecture lords, starting from Tsangning and Luo Yuandao, Zhanglan prefectures Jiang Tianhing and Jinhua prefectures Han Jinhua all sent gifts. Moon-gazing prefectures Gong Yufan and Sky Sun prefectures Yang Tianlai sent gifts for the second time. Last time, they gave compensation. Of course, it could also be considered as gifts. However, if they didn't take out a gift today, it would be a slap to Knight Sorrow's face. Next, Lin Qixing walked out. I'm a miser and won't pluck my feathers easily. But today, I must give you a piece of water chestnut dragon skin. I hope Lord Knight doesn't mind. Many thanks, Prefecture Lord Qixing. Knight Sorrow stood up and cupped his hands. Ha! And, that's good. This seat will wait for the wine. Lin Qixing smiled and sat down. Knight Sorrow, it's not easy to make Lin Qixing pluck your hair. Tsangning smiled and nodded at Knight Sorrow. I am here on the orders of the Battle Emperor. 10 Emperor-ranked soul stones and 1 monarch pill. Elder Nayland stood up and said. Awkward silence. There was a bit of an awkward silence because the Battle Emperor had never given anyone a congratulatory gift. Even the 7 prefecture lords who had entered the Emperor realm didn't receive such treatment. This was enough to show how much the ethereal Battle Emperor valued Knight Sorrow. Lord Yi, I've brought the Battle Emperor's congratulatory gift. It's mine. I'm poor. I only have a piece of time meteorite iron that I obtained in my early years. Elder Nayland took out another congratulatory gift. Tsangning and Luo Yuandao were sitting close to each other. They looked at each other. It was already surprising that the ethereal Battle Emperor had sent a congratulatory gift. Now, the city lord residence's Elder Lan, who didn't interact much with others, had also sent a congratulatory gift. This was simply unheard of. I don't dare to refuse an elder's gift. Yi Shang thanks Elder. Yi Shang nodded at Elder Nayland. And, I hope it will be of help to you. Elder Nayland nodded and sat down. Knight Sorrow then walked to the front desk and thanked the people who had come to congratulate him. He also explained the development concept of the Star Moon Lake. In short, Knight Sorrow is new here. I hope everyone can forgive me and help me. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands to the people who had come. Then, it was time for the banquet. Knight Sorrow received the guests with good wine and tea. Thank you, Sister Xian, for helping me. Knight Sorrow toasted everyone and went to Lin Xian, It's nothing. Lin Xian smiled and drank the wine in her hand. Tsang Ning turned his head and pursed his lips. Nothing. She was very clear that the city lord residence's elder Lan had come on Lin Xian's orders. That was the truth. Elder Lan had sent her here to send a signal. Yi Shan was supported by the ethereal battle emperor, so everyone should keep their eyes open. As for Elder Lan personally sending a congratulatory gift to support Yi Shan, Lin Xianer had not expected this. Elder Lan did not have much contact with outsiders. He was the protector elder of the city lord residence. He would only appear when the city lord residence was in danger. Normally, he did not care about anything. If he wanted to fight, Yuan Ji would not have been able to become the great elder, and Luo Yuandao would not have taken the position this time. Lin Xian did not understand why such a person would send a congratulatory gift. Elder Lan usually wanted to distance himself from all relationships and live his own life. After pondering for a while, Lin Xianer smiled because she had figured out the relationship between the two. Some things were best left to ponder. Lin Xianer understood what was going on after pondering for a while. There was nothing in the Misty Dynasty that could be hidden from her. After the celebration, Knight Sorrow sent the guests away and accompanied his fellow disciples and friends. Tsang Ning and Wu Fing also stayed in Knight Sorrow's residence because it was very lively now. Seeing Wu Lingfei, Lin Xian was once again shocked. The Ice Phoenix bloodline, this was also a pure divine beast. Just in time for Knight Sorrow to arrive, Knight Sorrow introduced the two sides. Young Lady Wu, your condition seems not too good. Your breath is not very stable. Lin Xian looked at Wu Lingfei and said. This is my fault. I was not careful enough. Knight Sorrow explained that Wu Lingfei had been poisoned by the evil dragon's poison flame. Knight Sorrow, this is not your fault. Everyone has some predestined fate. Wu Lingfei said. If you want to resolve this, there are two ways. The blood of an emperor rank white tiger or the blood of an emperor rank orthodox dragons. Lin Xian said. I plan to take a trip to the white tiger territory. I am an emperor rank. That white tiger emperor will definitely come to kill me. As long as I can injure it and collect some blood, that will be enough. Knight Sorrow spoke his thoughts. No, the white tiger emperor is not an emperor. You cannot touch it right now. Lin Xian directly interrupted Knight Sorrow. Is the white tiger emperor very strong? Knight Sorrow said. The concept of the white tiger emperor is very general. The four divine beasts all have their own territories. The azure dragons are currently the representatives of the dragons, but they are only representatives. The Black Tortoise clan is very tyrannical, and so is the Vermilion Bird clan. Everyone knows that the Azure Dragon territory, Black Tortoise territory, and Vermilion Bird territory have many Emperor Realm cultivators, but the White Tiger territory only has one White Tiger Emperor. In reality, it is not. Lin Xian said. Please dispel my confusion, Sister Xian. Knight Sorrow asked. The White Tiger territory has a world within a world. Generally, there is only one Emperor Realm White Tiger that patrols the ordinary White Tiger territory. When the time comes, it will rotate. No one knows what level of Emperor Realm White Tiger is assigned to patrol. If you rashly enter, if it is an Emperor rank White Tiger, then would you not be out of luck? It is not like there are no Emperor rank White Tigers. Lin Xian said. It's this complicated. Knight Sorrow's brow tightly wrinkled. To him, this was not good news at all. Yes, however, you can try to purchase White Tiger Essence Blood and Dragon's Essence Blood. The price is a bit higher. Perhaps there are members of the two clans that have transformed into humans and are roaming the celestial realm. If the price is high enough, it is not a big deal for them to bleed a bit. It depends on whether or not you can encounter them. This depends on luck. It depends on whether or not you pay the price they want. Lin Xian said. Chapter 1673. Night Sorrow hadn't seen the dragon language for a while, but she knew that the dragon language had also come to the celestial realm. Like Night Sorrow, she chose to come out. Who's the dragon language? Lin Xian asked. Night Sorrow told her about his conflict with the devil blood domain and the dragon language. Night Sorrow, let me tell you this. It's not easy to become an emperor. Don't use yourself to measure others. How big is the ethereal realm? There are trillions of living beings, but how many can become an emperor? Your primal chaos realm only has you. Lin Xian said. Relying on others is never as good as relying on oneself. Tomorrow, we'll send out a notice asking for purchase. As for whether we can attract dragons and white tigers, that will depend on luck. Night Sorrow agreed with Lin Xian. Yi Shang, you don't need to worry. It's not a big deal. Although the evil dragon poison flame is quite overbearing, it's not like Aunt Fei can't suppress it. Aunt Fei's bloodline can actually suppress it. It's just that her level is a bit low. Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. Wu Lingfei's bloodline and talent were very heaven-defying. It was only a matter of time before she achieved something. Night Sorrow had properties in his hands waiting to be taken over. They were 2 streets. Gong Yufan gave him Linhai Street, which was one of the more prosperous streets in the ethereal imperial city. There were properties on both sides of the street. Yang Tianlai was the same. In order not to cause trouble for Night Sorrow and let their grudges go smoothly, he gave him a street that was closer to Linhai Street. Night Sorrow originally planned to give one to the 9 Domains world and the other to the reincarnation world. He wanted everyone to develop on their own. However, he was rejected by Qing Emperor and the others. Long Xianqing and Taishu Yan also had the same idea. After a discussion, they decided to rent Night Sorrow's properties. After all, this was a huge foundation and belonged to Night Sorrow alone. It had nothing to do with the primal chaos realm. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor, Nyoibo Studio. For the convenience of development, Night Sorrow left it to Red Spectre, who had better management skills, to manage. Not only did they not charge rent for the time being, but they could also provide Holy Spirit stones if needed. However, Night Sorrow told Red Coat that the last good spot was for his own use because it was reserved for Chin Chin. After that, Night Sorrow found Chin Chin, who had not returned to 9 Regions City and was still in Starmoon Villa. You're busy, don't worry about me. I've already told you last time. When you're not busy, we'll chat and drink tea again. Chen Chen, who was enjoying the scenery with his 2 sons, Yi Qianhua, Qin Zhukong and his wife, asked them to leave. He knew that Night Sorrow was busy. Sworn brother, are you sure you want to drive me away? Originally, I had a good shop that I wanted to make into a tea house, but I can only forget about it, Night Sorrow said. Don't. Where is the store? Take me to see it. Opening a tea house in the celestial realm is the way to do business. Chen Chen quickly stopped Night Sorrow. I don't know exactly where it is, but we can go and take a look, Night Sorrow said with a smile. After that, Night Sorrow took Chen Chen's family and Red Coat to Linhai Street. Red Coat was in charge of Linhai Street, so she knew everything. It was a property in the center of Linhai Street and there was a villa behind it. Young master, this is the best shop on Linhai Street. The location is the best and the style is also the best. After the people of Guanyue Mansion withdrew, Red Coat didn't let anyone touch it, Red Coat said. Sworn brother, this place is yours from now on, Night Sorrow said. What? If you give this property to me, does this belong to you? Chen Chen looked at Yi Shang with some surprise. It's mine. You can do business in the future. If you want to be the biggest boss in the Chaos Realm, I'll naturally support you, Night Sorrow said. The value of this property is estimated to be very high and the location is so good. Chen Chen was a little emotional. This is the best property on Linhai Street. It's estimated to be around 5 million Holy Spirit stones. Redcoat explained the situation. 5 million, my goodness. I'll take it for a few 100,000. 5 million is not enough even with all my assets. I can't take it. Night Sorrow, lend it to me first and then rent it to me. Chen Chen thought for a moment and said. Do we need to do this between us brothers? Night Sorrow said with a bitter smile. We don't need to do this between brothers, but I'm still a businessman. It's settled then. This is a good shop. Zhu Kong, don't go to the 9 Zones world for now. Help father support this place. Chen Chen walked directly into the shop. I really don't understand the world of businessmen. Night Sorrow looked at Redcoat and said helplessly. This is the principle. Redcoat said with a smile. After looking around, Chen Chen was extremely excited because he liked this place. Night Sorrow, if you're tired in the future, this is where you can drink tea and rest. Redcoat, you'll take care of this business, right? I'll talk to you, Chen Chen said. I really don't understand you guys. I don't care, but I need good tea to receive guests. I can't do without good tea. Night Sorrow looked at Chen Chen and said. I know you need it. Your brother is not only a tea shop owner, but also a restaurant business. Before coming here, I've prepared everything for you, but I didn't give it to you. Chen Chen took out 2 storage rings and handed them to Night Sorrow. You're a businessman. Are these gifts or for sale? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. Others would definitely be for sale, but you're my only brother in this life. Do you think it's for sale? Chen Chen glared at Night Sorrow. You said that I'm your only brother. Then why didn't you take it when I gave it to you? Night Sorrow muttered. This is different. I accept your help, but there's no need to give it to me. You have the strength of character of the people of the 9 Zones. As your brother, of course, I have to have that too. Chen Chen expressed his insistence. Alright, then I won't say anything more on this matter. Redcoat, in the future, I'll arrange for the God-slaying squad to patrol this area. If the God-slaying squad wants to stop for tea, they can stop here. The accounts will be settled by Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow said to Redcoat. Red nodded. She would do what Yi Shang asked her to do. Redcoat, if you want to start a business, you can choose any place here. If you want to get married, I'll arrange a dowry for you. The Yi family's extravagance won't be bad either. The same goes for Lawning. Night Sorrow looked at Redcoat and Lawning beside him and said. He treated them as members of the Yi family. Thank you, young master. Redcoat and Lawning bowed. Lawning, you're not as meticulous as Redcoat. Just help her, Night Sorrow said to Lawning. Young master, old Xia, and the other 2 wanted to leave today, but I stopped them. Lawning told them that even if they wanted to leave, they had to wait until you were done with your work, Lawning said. The old Xia and the other 2 she was talking about were Summer City, Xian Daozi, and Sheng Wanhong. You did the right thing. I'm so busy that I didn't receive you all. Brother, I won't care about your business. If you need anything, just come to me. Night Sorrow said to Chen Chen and left Linhai Street. Father, this uncle of mine is so powerful. He's made a name for himself in the celestial realm. If I go out and shout that Night Sorrow is my uncle, who would dare to touch me? Chen Zhukong said excitedly. Smack. Chen Chen slapped the back of Chen Zhukong's head. Chapter 1674. Bastard, have your uncle's children ever said that they are part of the Yi family? But did they say that Night Sorrow was their father? But using his father's name to do things. Do you want to use my name to show off? Chen Chen was furious. Otherwise, he would not have hit him directly. Father, I was just joking. Why would I do that? Chen Jukong said, feeling wronged. Ah, Kong, there are some jokes that shouldn't be made. This has crossed my bottom line, Yi Qianhua said. Father, big brother, I know I was wrong. I won't speak carelessly in the future. Chen Jukong admitted his mistake in a low voice. Remember, principles and strength of character are things that the Qin family must keep at the bottom of our hearts. Chen reminded Chen Jukong. Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa and went to the residence of the trio in Summer City. I heard that the three uncles are leaving. That won't do. Night Sorrow hasn't had a good drink with the three uncles yet. Your Highness, you're so busy right now. You don't have to take care of us, Summer City said. Uncle Xia, please don't be angry. What I did was really inappropriate, Night Sorrow said with some embarrassment. He had just started to receive the guests, but he was so busy that he forgot about it. Our song, issued, Your Highness, if you say so, then I will not leave. Summer City's voice was not calm. What was Night Sorrow's status now? The domain master of the primal chaos realm, a rank 9 emperor, still called them uncle and apologized. Haha. This proves that Uncle Xia and the others are not angry. Tonight, I will accompany the three uncles to drink. Ji Dao, go and call the members of the deicide squad over. Night Sorrow shouted to Ji Dao. A short while later, the main members of the god-slaying squad arrived. In the future, everyone will stay here and cultivate. Those who need to stabilize their cultivation bases, head to the 9 regions world's clear sky pagoda. Also, there are 2 streets that belong to us and need to be patrolled. The god-slaying team will be responsible for Linhai Street, Night Sorrow said. Captain, our current cultivation levels are a little lacking, Liang Yu said. He was now a 6-star king and was already advancing towards becoming a 7-star king. It's a little lacking, but you guys have the combined attack array. As long as you can trap the opponent for a period of time, it will be fine. Also, I will send a Heaven Monarch to stand guard over there, Night Sorrow said to Liang Yu. That's good. Long Jin and Liang Yu nodded. Haha. Old man, we have something to do as well. Let's help His Highness patrol. Xian Daozi looked at Summer City. That's right, Your Highness. The 3 of us don't have much to do. We're also enjoying our retirement in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Why don't the 3 of us go to the street where Your Highness lives, said Summer City. Sure. Then this matter is settled. Uncles, don't even think about going back, Night Sorrow said. After solving the problem of Summer City's trio, Night Sorrow went to the main pavilion. Datura and Lin Xian were drinking tea and chatting. Ah Luo, I think we can get Ghost Monkey here. There's no need for him to stay in Guanyue Prefecture. We won't tell him some of Gong Yufan's secrets. Knowing that Gong Yufan has a conflict with Yuan Ji and the Celestial Sect is enough, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then call him back. Datura nodded. You're really something. You have a spy in Guanyue Prefecture. Lin Xian was stunned when she heard Night Sorrow and Datura's conversation. It's not something that can be arranged. It's just a coincidence. Night Sorrow smiled and explained his interactions with Ghost Monkey. I see. Gong Yufan has lost another capable Heaven Monarch. Lin Xian smiled. Gong Yufan could only be considered unlucky. After receiving the notice, Ghost Monkey immediately announced that he was leaving Guanyue Prefecture and joining Star Moon Lake. Gong Yufan was furious when he heard this. Ghost Monkey's actions were a slap to his face, but he didn't have the ability to challenge Star Moon Lake. He could only endure this. The angriest one was Gong Xianyu. His bodyguard had left. He would be a laughing stock whenever he went out. Night Sorrow arranged for Ghost Monkey to stay at Linhai Street. He set up a stronghold there, where Star Moon Lake's patrols would rest. Ghost Monkey, Summer City, and the God-slaying team would all stay there. The other street was used by the Samsara world, Shinwu world, and Xianhuang world. The patrols were arranged by Qing Emperor and the others. They just had to pay Night Sorrow rent regularly. Night Sorrow didn't need to worry about anything else. After dealing with most of the matters, Night Sorrow's main body headed to the Great Void River. Now, his domain of nothingness needed to be perfected as soon as possible. As for the domain of spacetime, it was already formed. He could slowly improve it. The will of destruction was still 10% away. His main body went to cultivate while Night Sorrow's clone stayed at Night Moon Villa to deal with some matters. It was quiet for half a month. One day, when he was discussing the development of Star Moon Lake with Lin Xian, the God-Fiend Castle's token in Night Sorrow's sleeve vibrated. Night Sorrow knew that the God-Fiend Castle was summoning him, so he went there. As soon as he entered the God-Fiend Castle, Elder Nalan appeared and welcomed Night Sorrow into the underground God-Fiend Castle. Congratulations! You're not even 200 years old and you're already in the Emperor realm. This is too beautiful. Elder Nalan's face was full of smiles. You little brat, now you've caused a storm in the city. We want to apply for the position of God-Fiend Protector for you. Normally speaking, with your past achievements and entering the Emperor realm at 200 years old, the higher-ups would directly approve of you as a God-Fiend Protector. However, Elder Nalan and I feel that in order to avoid gossip and criticism, you should take the assessment. Then we'll report it. What do you think? Elder Nalan looked coldly at Night Sorrow and asked. Many thanks to the two elders for your support. Night Sorrow is very grateful. I accept the assessment. Night Sorrow nodded. He was willing to take the assessment. Then, Night Sorrow was brought into the assessment space. There were 3 1-star Emperor-level puppets. With the spacetime domain, Night Sorrow was in an invincible position. The 3 1-star Emperor-level puppets' domains were unable to suppress Night Sorrow's spacetime domain. Not only was Night Sorrow's speed fast, but the Emperor-level puppets' attacks were slowed down after entering the spacetime domain. Their attacks were cancelled out by the spacetime domain. They were no threat to Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's true dragon destruction and Great Emperor Samsara / were extremely powerful. The puppets were unable to defend against them. In just a cup of tea's time, Night Sorrow completed the assessment. Ha! In a cup of tea's time, he defeated 3 Emperor-level puppets. This is a great achievement. Night Sorrow came out and clapped his hands. Then I'll have to trouble the 2 elders for the following matters. If there's a suitable mission, the 2 elders can inform me. Night Sorrow said. There's one more thing to tell you. The God-Fiend Castle's Donghao region's protector, Donghao Ju, has passed the elders' assessment. Ling Nalan looked at Night Sorrow and said. This isn't good news. Donghao Ju is an Emperor Realm expert? Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 1675. Don't worry, I'll just be careful and defend myself. Night Sorrow said. This involved the rules of the Divine Castle, so he couldn't make things difficult for Elder Nalan and Ling Lai. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow left the Divine Castle. Not far from the Divine Castle, Night Sorrow turned around because Elder Nalan had also come out. Elder Nalan, do you have anything to tell Night Sorrow? Night Sorrow asked. I'm Elder Nalan and I'm going to the City Lord's mansion now. What a coincidence, Lord Knight. Elder Nalan said with a smile. It's really a coincidence. Go to the tea house for a cup of tea. Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment, then smiled because Elder Nalan had completed the identity change. Sure. I've heard that the Twilight Tea House on Lin High Street is very famous now. It's only been open for half a month, but its reputation has already spread. Elder Nayland said. Then let's go. Let's go to the Twilight Tea House, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow and Elder Nayland went to the Twilight Tea House on Lynn High Street. The Twilight Tea House was the one opened by Chin Chin. It was evening and Lynn High Street was very lively. A row of red lanterns hung in the Twilight Tea House, making it seem like a pure land in the midst of the hustle and bustle of Lynn High Street. Night Sorrow and Elder Nayland entered and were received by someone. Night Sorrow recognized them as he had seen them at Chin Chen's tea house. My lords, our Twilight Tea House has 4 environments to choose from. Wind, flower, snow, and moon. Which one do you prefer? The receptionist asked. Elder Nayland, what do you think? Night Sorrow looked at Elder Nayland. I remember that the last time I was here, there was only the Wind Pavilion. There are so many choices this time. Elder Nayland asked. Our boss has made arrangements. Lord Night Sorrow has a reserved pavilion in each area of the Twilight Tea House. There are seats available whenever you come, the receptionist said. That works too. I've heard that the Twilight Tea House is the most popular place in the moon-admiring pavilion, and it's hard to find a seat. There are moons everywhere in the celestial realm, but the moon in the Twilight Tea House is different. I'd like to see it, Elder Lon said. Night Sorrow and Elder Lon were led to the top floor of the Twilight Tea House by the receptionist. It was an elegant pavilion surrounded by vines, with a bright moon hanging overhead. Soon after, the receptionist served the tea. I wonder if Overlord Yi and this lord would like to personally brew the tea, or do you want me to help you brew it? Go and do your work. I can do it myself. After Night Sorrow took the tea, he personally made a pot of heart-cleansing tea. After a while, Elder Lon, who had taken a sip of tea, narrowed his eyes and looked at the bright moon in the sky through the vines. When I look at the moon again after calming down, it's really a different feeling. There is no moon in the world, but the moon in the Twilight Tea House is different. This saying is true. When one's state of mind is different, one sees things differently, Night Sorrow said with a smile. The owner of this place is a genius. The price of tea here is dozens or even hundreds of times higher than other tea houses, but everyone is still thirsty for it. In the celestial realm, who is in the mood to drink tea, who would care about a small amount of Holy Spirit stones? The tea is good tea, the environment is good, and the Holy Spirit stones are well spent, Elder Lon said. He's my sworn brother. His dream isn't to be a high-level cultivator. He wants to be a good businessman, a successful businessman, Night Sorrow said with a smile. He's already a good businessman. This place will become a symbol of the ethereal dynasty in the future, a place where people of high status can chat, gather, and discuss business, Elder Lon said. He was very impressed with Chin Chen's idea of running a shop. The Twilight Tea House was not open during the day and only officially opened at night. The tea house was very large with hundreds of elegant pavilions, but it was still not enough. This was the effect Chin Chen wanted. I'll tell my sworn brother to reserve a room for Elder Lon. Elder Lon can come whenever he wants, Night Sorrow said. Ha! There's no need for that. If there's no good seat, it's not bad to have one. Elder Lon said with a smile. At his level, he really did not care about anything. Chen Chen came and brought tea and snacks to Night Sorrow. My sworn brother, this is Elder Lon from the City Lord's mansion. There's often no seat when he comes. Can you arrange for him? Night Sorrow asked. Of course. I've thought about some things. I want to run the business well. This place needs to be a place where famous people gather. Of course, it's necessary to have dealings with the outside world, so no matter how good the business is, there's always a reserved pavilion. My sworn brother, your 4 pavilions are for you to receive guests, Chin Chin said. Then can you give me a few VIP cards? I'll go give them out, so it won't be awkward when my friends come and don't have a seat, Night Sorrow said. These are VIP cards. Brother, don't give them out carelessly. The rarer something is, the more valuable it is. Chin Chin smiled and handed Night Sorrow a stack of purple crystal cards. Okay, I know. I'll try my best not to hinder you from making money, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then, Chin Chin left. He knew that it was not appropriate for him to chat with Night Sorrow and Elder Lawn. He did not understand Night Sorrow's world. Night Sorrow handed a card to Elder Lawn. It's okay. It's not bad to bring an old friend over for tea. Okay, I'll accept it. Lin High Street is developing very well and is very unique. The City Lord's mansion will also cooperate with the patrols here. After accepting a VIP card, I have to do something. The main thing is that when I drink tea in the future, I won't hear any discordant sounds, Elder Lawn said. Almost a new chapter # section you unspecified currency above, then Night Sorrow thanks Elder Lawn. Night Sorrow nodded. As for what you're facing now, it's not a big deal for the Donghao region to find trouble with you. They don't dare to do it directly and they can't. They can only assassinate you. As long as they don't succeed at that time, the Emperor of the City Lord's mansion will arrive. Elder Lawn brought up another topic. Elder Lawn did not say it too bluntly. It was enough that Night Sorrow understood. He was talking about the Donghao region's Donghao Ju. After drinking a pot of tea, Night Sorrow sent Elder Lawn away and returned to the Twilight Tea House to Chin Chen's resting place. At this time, Chin Chen was lying on a rattan chair, swaying back and forth. Seeing that Night Sorrow had come, Chin Chen wanted to stand up. Don't, I'll also lie down for a while. Night Sorrow rested on another chair. The two of them talked for a while. Everything in the tea house was going smoothly and no one was causing trouble. They earned 60 to 70,000 Saint Spirit stones every day. It was a very good business. Brother, you're robbing us. A day's income is probably the entire wealth of a king. Night Sorrow was a little surprised. The Twilight Tea House was earning Saint Spirit stones too fast. They earned 1 or 2 million Saint Spirit stones in a month. It said that the rarer something is, the more valuable it is. If 1 Saint Spirit stone is a big bowl of tea, who knows about the Twilight Tea House? Gradually, the price will increase. The Twilight Tea House will be the most luxurious place in the Ethereal Empire. I've already made arrangements. If a few sisters-in-law come, they'll be received and arranged. Chin Chin explained his business experience and some of his arrangements. All right. Your business is doing well, but you have to be careful. Many people know that you're my brother. I have quite a lot of enemies. Don't go outside and don't let anyone harm you. Night Sorrow reminded. Chapter 1676. I'll be careful. Chin Chin nodded. Night Sorrow then returned to the Night Moon Villa. Where did you go? It took you so long to come back. Datura asked. Datura, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Aoi, Yin Shi, and Lin Xiena were chatting with Song Ning. I went to drink tea with Elder Lawn of the City Lord's mansion. You guys don't know, but right now, Foster Brothers' Twilight Tea House is booming. It's hard to find a seat, Yi Shan said as he sat down. Twilight Tea House. It would have been better if you didn't mention it. Wu Fing and I went there once to see the snow and wind, flower, snow, and moon, but there were no seats. It was really disappointing. Night Sorrow, do you know? It costs 2,000 Saint Spirit stones to enter the Sunset Villa's Snow Grace Pavilion. Isn't it just a snow tree made of ice and snow or? Why are so many people entering with such a high price? Song Ning was a little angry after hearing Yi Shang's words. Old Song, let me ask you the truth. Do you still want to go? Night Sorrow asked. I still want to go, but it's annoying that there are no seats. 2,000 Holy Spirit stones are nothing. I can afford 20,000. Tsang Ning thought for a moment and said, it means that the business is doing well. So what if it's expensive? No one cares. Lin Xianer said with a smile. I asked for a few VIP cards today. Sister Xianer will give you one. Boss Tsang and Brother Wufing can use one each. Night Sorrow took out 2 VIP cards and gave one to Lin Xianer and Tsang Ning each. Okay. It's good to know you, Night Sorrow. Tsang Ning said after taking the VIP cards. Night Sorrow, what should we do? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Ninth senior sister, look at what you're asking. Your face is the VIP card. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Aoi and the others smiled. Chen Chen knew them, so it was convenient for them to go there. While they were chatting, Qing Emperor arrived at the Night Moon Villa. What's the matter, Master? Night Sorrow asked. Yes, there is. I don't know why Donghao Mountain in the Donghao district has sent people to the vicinity of Star Moon Lake, Qing Emperor said. Something's happening at Mount Donghao. Night Sorrow understood that it was his quest at the divine castle that had caused trouble. How dare they? Don't they know that Star Moon Lake is now an area recognized by the Misty Dynasty? Tsang Ning slammed the table. The other party should know about this. That's why they've cut off one of the sources of stone that we used to construct Star Moon City from a place millions of miles away. This can't be considered as an attack. It can only be considered as an indirect suppression. The main materials that we use to construct Star Moon City are stone and wood. There are other sources for wood, but since the other party has cut off the stone, it's troublesome. Let's retreat for now and observe the other party's movements. The safety of our people is the most important thing, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then let's look around and see if there are other sources of stone. Qing Emperor knew that Mount Donghao was very strong. He had come today to explain the situation to Night Sorrow. He didn't want Night Sorrow to take the risk of going against Mount Donghao. After Qing Emperor left, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. He then stood up and said, Ah Luo, Night Moon Villa is operating normally. Take care of the situation at Linhai Street. I'll go out and take a look. After Night Sorrow left, Lin Xian didn't say anything. Tsang Ning didn't say anything either. They would wait and see what Lin Xian meant. After leaving Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array and arrived at Donghao District. He wanted to know how strong Dong Haojue was and whether there was a possibility of fighting him. If there was, then he would kill his way over and get rid of Dong Haojue. Night Sorrow wasn't a soft-hearted person. If there was a conflict, then he would resolve it. That assassin came to kill him and was killed by him because he wasn't strong enough. Dong Haojue wanted to suppress Star Moon Lake. This was something that he couldn't tolerate. After teleporting for 4 hours, Night Sorrow arrived at Donghao District. He then found a restaurant to drink and listen to other people's discussions. Since Mount Donghao made a move against Star Moon Lake, then there must be some news. Night Sorrow wanted to listen to other people's discussions. After walking through 4 cities, Night Sorrow heard the news that he wanted to investigate. 1 month ago, Mount Donghao's young lord, Dong Haojue, broke through and became an Emperor Realm expert. 4 to 6-star thearchs were called Emperor Realm experts. Dong Haojue had just entered the Emperor Realm, which meant that he was cultivating at the 4-star Thearch Realm. Dong Haojue was 3 stages higher than himself. Night Sorrow knew that there was a huge gap between them. After all, there was a difference of 3 stages in cultivation. In between, there was the line between the initial and the middle stages. However, being blocked at the door without saying anything or reacting wasn't Night Sorrow's character. After pondering for a while, Night Sorrow returned to Night Moon Villa. His main body stopped comprehending the realms and started to refine the fire of life and monarch realm and the arch realm evil spirits fire of life and monarch realm elixirs. At the same time, he asked Datura to send the gold spirit to Star Moon City so that it could continue cultivating its combat skills. Night Sorrow, what are you trying to do? Lin Xian asked as she looked at Night Sorrow, who was cultivating his spear art. She knew that the energy fluctuation on Night Sorrow's body wasn't because his clone was cultivating his combat skills. Night Sorrow's clone didn't cultivate any combat skills, but the energy fluctuation was still there. This meant that it was caused by his main body. Mount Donghao is provoking me. If they want to fight, I will accompany them. Night Sorrow kept his space-splitting spear and said. What did you find out? Lin Xian asked. Mount Donghao's operation at Star Moon Lake was initiated by Mount Donghao's young lord, Dong Haojue. He just entered the Emperor realm some time ago. Night Sorrow shared the information he found out. He is an Emperor realm expert. How are we going to fight? Datura, who was standing at the side, asked. Emperor realm expert. Emperor realm expert is trying to scare me. If he is an Emperor realm expert, are all the subordinates of Mount Donghao also Emperor realm experts? I originally planned to cultivate slowly after reaching a certain level of cultivation. Since he forced me, I will play with him. When my main body's space-time energy increases and my soul power is saturated, I will fight. Night Sorrow stated his decision. Night Sorrow, isn't it a little risky? They can't attack Star Moon Lake now anyway. Datura said. It's not risky. If I can't kill an Emperor realm expert, I will kill them. If they are capable, they can't retreat. Night Sorrow smiled. What do you mean? You don't plan to fight them head-on and take care of the areas where they can't withstand the attacks? Lin Xian could guess Night Sorrow's thoughts. Yes, but this is also considered borrowing the power of the ethereal dynasty. Mount Donghao has sealed off Star Moon Lake 1,000,000 miles away, which means that they are afraid of the ethereal dynasty and don't dare to attack directly. However, I dare to attack them. How many Emperor realm experts does Mount Donghao have? Isn't it just 2? They want to capture me with just 2. They are thinking too much. If they want to play, I will play with them. Night Sorrow shared his thoughts. Pyong 6 GOM, free of charge. Read Novel 7. The thing you don't lack the most in life is passion. I am envious. Lin Xian smiled. Chapter 1677. Since you've decided, I'll support you, Datura said. We'll have to wait for a while. My original body used the monarch pill and flame of life to increase my cultivation and soul power. It'll take some time for my cultivation to catch up with my realm. Night Sorrow nodded. He was happy that Datura supported him. How many times can your time acceleration treasure be? My space acceleration treasure can accelerate time by 40 times. Lin Xian said. She wanted to help Night Sorrow. My time acceleration treasure is not bad. It won't take long. Night Sorrow said. The clear sky pagoda could accelerate time by 50 times. Night Sorrow felt that it would only take about half a year, less than a year. Normally, it would take more than 200 years for an Emperor Realm cultivator to increase one's cultivation by 1 level. However, Night Sorrow used the best resources. The Monarch Pill could increase one's cultivation by refining it. The same went for the Flame of Life. Night Sorrow had an Emperor Realm Flame of Life. Not bad. How many times? Lin Xian was a little stunned after hearing Night Sorrow's words. Night Sorrow should be in need of time now. He actually didn't need her time acceleration treasure. That. My time acceleration treasure is a heavenly god artifact. The acceleration effect is not bad. Knight Sorrow stammered. He didn't want to hurt Lin Xian Er's good intentions. Then it's 40 times more powerful than mine. Strong enough. Lin Xian Er gave Knight Sorrow a thumbs up. Lin Xian Er and Song Ning met in the city lord's mansion. Miss, what's going on? Is Donghao Mountain going to attack Knight Sorrow? Song Ning didn't understand. Knight Sorrow didn't mention this, and neither did Donghao Mountain. However, it's obvious that there's a conflict. First, the great elder's son, Xian, was killed by a mission enforcer from the Divine Devil Castle. Then, one of the young lords of Donghao Mountain fell. It said that he was killed while carrying out a mission from the Divine Devil Castle. Do you understand some of these things? Lin Xian Er asked Song Ning. So complicated. How should we deal with this matter? Song Ning asked. What do you mean by how to deal with it? As long as Mount Donghao doesn't attack Star Moon Lake, we won't care. As for the rest, they can do whatever they want, Lin Xian said. The people of Donghao Mountain are surrounding Star Moon Lake and robbing the resources of Star Moon Lake. This makes me very angry. This is simply a slap in the face. Song Ning was a little angry. She felt that Donghao Mountain was bullying people. They were bullying Knight Sorrow because he was a newcomer to the celestial realm. Furthermore, they were bullying her friend. Face slapping. We still don't know who will be slapping whose face. That's right, I asked you to investigate the relationship between the celestial sect and Gong Yufan. Have you found anything yet? Lin Xian changed the topic. Yes, I've found out that Gong Yufan is very close to the celestial sect's elder Li Zhe. Through Li Zhe, Gong Yufan has also come into contact with Ling Daoxiu. In addition, there are traces of the celestial sect's development in the Guanyue mansion, Zhang Ning said. I can tolerate some small mistakes, but why do they always touch my bottom line? Guanyue mansion will be wiped out and a new one will be established. Wu Fing will be the new mansion lord. Lin Xian made her decision. Wu Fing is capable, but he only has a few subordinates. He doesn't have enough power, Lin Xian said. Lin Xian then called for a meeting of the mansion elders. The only mansion lords present were Cang Ning and Luo Yuandao. Of course, Luo Yuandao was now the enforcement elder. Lin Xian announced the results of her investigation and her decision. Previously, when Yuan Ji obtained the celestial sex puppet and asked his subordinates to fight Knight Sorrow, it was probably because of Gong Yufan. It doesn't matter if there are internal conflicts, but we can't betray him, Elder Lan said. I've decided to let Wu Fing establish a new mansion. Elder Lan, arrange a team of guards to assist him for a period of 100 years, Lin Xian said to Elder Lan. Look at the section in Chapter C of the original version. I understand, Elder Lan nodded. Clean up the Guanyue mansion's forces with Wu Fing as the main force. Cang Ning, you will transfer an army from the Cang Ning army to assist. Also, capture Gong Yufan and bring him back. If he resists, kill him on the spot. I'll leave the details to you, Lin Xian said. Everyone in the mansion bowed and accepted the order. Also, isn't the celestial sect playing tricks? If we don't play any tricks, we'll just kill our way in. This time, I want the celestial sect's territory to be 80 million miles wide. You'll work together on this matter, Lin Xian said, then left the mansion hall in a flash. The few people in the mansion sat down and discussed the details. Lin Xian just set the general direction and left the details to them. Elder Lan, what do you think? Cang Ning looked at Elder Lan. Find someone to divine the situation of Gong Yufan's original body and clone. I'll bring people to flatten the Guanyue mansion. No matter if it's Gong Yufan's original body or his clone, I'll take him down, Elder Lan said. After finding someone to divine, they found that Gong Yufan's original body was in the mansion, while his clone was cultivating elsewhere. The location was also confirmed. It was in the celestial sect's territory, in the 1,000-level catacombs, not far from the ethereal dynasty. I'll be responsible for his clone in the 1,000-level catacombs. I'll also mobilize the shadow army of the Shadow Mansion. Zhang Ning, you can let Wu Feng lead it, Luo Yuandao said. It seems that Wu Feng and I have the easiest tasks. Alright, we'll do it together at noon tomorrow. Elder Luo will also be in the 1,000-level catacombs at that time, so we won't alert the enemy, Zhang Ning said. Alright, it's settled. Once we're done with our tasks, we'll gather at Zhang Ning and Wu Feng's location. Lord Battle Emperor wants us to travel 80 million miles, so we can't be less than 1 mile, Elder Lan said. Elder Lan was an elder of the God-Fiend Castle, but his roots were in the ethereal dynasty. The celestial sect was disrespecting the ethereal dynasty by targeting the Guanyue mansion, so Elder Lan couldn't tolerate it. Knight Zoro's clone was cultivating the spacetime domain and improving his combat ability. He didn't care about what was happening outside. However, Ghost Monkey came to report the situation. You're saying that Gong Yufan was crippled by Elder Lan of the City Lord's mansion and brought to the City Lord's mansion. Knight Zoro was surprised by the news. That's not all. The Zhangning Legion's Flying Rock Legion, Umbra Manor's Umbra Legion, and the City Lord's Manor's law enforcement squad swept through Guanyue Manor under the leadership of Zhangning and Lord Wu Feng. The City Lord's mansion ordered Guanyue Mansion to be wiped out. The new 7th mansion will be named Wu Feng Mansion, and the mansion lord will be Lord Wu Feng, Ghost Monkey said. No wonder I haven't seen them for the past 2 days. It seems that Gong Yufan did something that the City Lord's mansion can't tolerate. Go and investigate, Knight Zoro said. After putting away the Space Splitter Spear, Knight Zoro brewed a pot of tea. He knew that only the ethereal Battle Emperor could deal with Gong Yufan. He didn't know what Gong Yufan had done to anger the ethereal Battle Emperor. Chapter 1678. Young Tianlai was scared. He didn't know what was going on. He was worried that he and Gong Yufan had angered ethereal Battle Emperor by going against Knight Zoro. Now that Gong Yufan had fallen, he was worried that he would be the next. Young Tianlai knelt for 4 hours before Lin Piamiao appeared. Greetings, my lady. Young Tianlai bowed. These 4 hours are your punishment. You need to remember that a person should live with dignity. You need to weigh the consequences before doing anything. This time, what you did wasn't worth it. Lin Piamiao said coldly. I know my mistake. Young Tianlia's face was covered in sweat. However, he heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that Lin Piamiao had already punished him and wouldn't punish him. I didn't punish you this time because you didn't betray Ethereal Empire. Also, you know what humiliation is. Isn't it shameful to lose to Knight Zoro? Very shameful. If you know it's shameful, then you should be brave. Besides, Knight Zoro is upright. Why did you offend him for no reason? Lin Piamiao lectured young Tianlai. Lin Piamiao knew that Knight Zoro was the Merit Grand Sage. Whoever offended Knight Zoro wouldn't have a good ending. Hence, she reminded young Tianlai. It was my mistake. I won't do it again. Young Tianlai said. Alright, you can go back. I believe that after this incident, you will understand something. Lin Piamiao waved her hand at young Tianlai. Originally, Lin Piamiao was very angry with young Tianlia's actions. However, after dealing with Gong Yufan, she felt touched. She didn't want to hurt her old brothers anymore. This feeling came from the friendship between Knight Zoro and her brothers. She knew that Lin Piamiao's heart ached when dealing with Gong Yufan. It was Luo Yuandao who killed Gong Yufan. However, on account of their past relationship, they didn't destroy Gong Yufan's soul and gave him a chance to reincarnate. Guanyue Prefecture's territory was taken over by Wufeng Prefecture. The plaque of Guanyue Prefecture was also changed to Wufing Prefecture. The Misty City's City Lord Mansion also announced the reason for dealing with Gong Yufan. The main reason was that he shouldn't have gotten too close to the Misty Dynasty's rival, the Celestial Sect. Furthermore, he allowed the Celestial Sect to develop in the Misty Dynasty's territory. This was a betrayal to the Misty Dynasty. On the other hand, the Misty Dynasty's mansion lords and elders led their troops to push forward. They directly killed their way into the territory of the Celestial Sect. After advancing for 80 million miles, they planted the imperial flag of the Misty Dynasty there. Soon after, the Flying Rock Army began to set up defenses. The other 6 prefectures also sent out a portion of their forces to consolidate their territories. Zhang Ning even shouted at the people of the Celestial Sect. If the Celestial Sect dared to scheme against the Misty Dynasty again, the Misty Dynasty would attack them again. Domineering. This was the domineering aura of the Misty Dynasty. So what if the Celestial Sect had 2 monarchs? There was no need for the ethereal battle emperor to step in. The emperor of the ethereal empire could fight. Not to mention that the Celestial Sect Celestial Saint Emperor was so scared by the great demon king that he didn't dare to show himself. Even if the Celestial Saint Emperor was here, the ethereal empire would still fight. See original version 3 *, chapter C section 9J above equals the Misty Dynasty had banished the family of Guanyue Prefecture's Gong Yufan as punishment. They weren't allowed to live in the former Guanyue Prefecture, which was the territory of the Wufing Prefecture. The other 6 prefectures' territories allowed them to live and develop. This arrangement was mainly to prevent them from being hostile to the Wufing Prefecture and hindering the development of the Wufing Prefecture. This was a huge storm. If the fall of the Guanyue Prefecture and the rise of the Wufing Prefecture were considered a major event in the Misty Dynasty, then the Misty Dynasty taking over the 80 million territories of the Celestial Sect was a major event in the nearby regions. In the past, the Celestial Sect had an emperor. Now, they had 2 monarchs. However, the Misty Dynasty attacked them without any notice. This was how domineering they were. Of course, the Misty Dynasty had also issued an announcement, stating the reason for attacking the Celestial Sect. It was because the Celestial Sect was too despicable. In addition, they also stated that no matter which sect or force, as long as they dared to offend the Misty Dynasty would attack them directly. This was the style of the Misty Dynasty. Although Night Sorrow did not go out, news would still reach him. Ghost Monkey could investigate, and the God-slaying squad also had members who could do the same. Night Sorrow was happy for Wufing. No matter how powerful Wufing's enemies were, or whether they had an emperor or not, they would have to consider the Misty Battle Emperor's attitude if they wanted to touch Wufing. In the East Hao Mountains encampment around the Star Moon Lake, a few people were discussing the current situation with Dong Haojue, who was sitting on the main seat. They were worried that the Misty Dynasty would attack the East Hao Mountain ruthlessly, and the East Hao Mountain wouldn't be able to withstand it. I've told the sect master about this matter. The Misty Dynasty prides themselves on doing things in an open and above-board manner. Then, what reason do they have to attack the East Hao region? We didn't invade the Misty Dynasty like the Celestial Sect. So what if they protect the Star Moon Lake? We didn't attack the Star Moon Lake. So even if they want to interfere, they don't have a valid reason, said Dong Haojue. This was the conclusion that Dong Haojue had reached after discussing with the East Hao Mountain's Mountain Lord. The Misty Battle Emperor wouldn't go back on his words. Besides, Dong Haojue had told his father that he was avenging his younger brother. The East Hao Mountain's Mountain Lord didn't ask about the details. He didn't join the God Fiend Castle, but he knew some things and understood why Dong Haojue was doing this. Naturally, he supported him. He also knew that this wouldn't be a reason for the Misty Dynasty to attack the East Hao Mountain. With the East Hao Mountain's Mountain Lord's support, Dong Haojue's plan went smoothly. He contacted the World Edge Pavilion and cut off the Star Moon Lake from the World Edge Pavilion. Then, Dong Haojue did some research and felt that it wouldn't be a problem to completely cut off the Star Moon Lake because of the geography. The Star Moon Lake was an ungoverned area. The East Hao Mountain, the World Edge Pavilion, and the Mishti dynasty didn't occupy it. It was an empty area. There was also an empty area between the Star Moon Lake and the Green Water City. It wasn't part of the Green Water City, which meant that it wasn't part of the Mishti dynasty's territory. The Mishti dynasty ordered that the area around the Star Moon Lake was under the Star Moon Lake's name. As long as Dong Haojue didn't enter this area, he would be fine. Dong Haojue ordered his men to surround the Star Moon Lake from 3 sides and cut off the road. He was waiting for Night Sorrow to show up. As long as Night Sorrow showed up, he would kill Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow received all this news. Even a king from the Black-Yellow Great World's Wuling Mountain was killed by Dong Haojue. After receiving the news, Night Sorrow was furious. However, he didn't lose his cool. His original body was still rapidly improving its strength. He didn't lack time. Night Sorrow informed the Star Moon Lake's members that they wouldn't come out for the time being. If they needed resources urgently, they would purchase them from the Mishti dynasty or mobilize them from the 9 regions world. They wouldn't contact the East Hao Mountain for the time being. In addition, after learning that the World Edge Pavilion had joined forces with the East Hao Mountain, Night Sorrow had another grudge in his heart. Those who bullied the weak Star Moon Lake had to pay the price. Seeing that Night Sorrow was calm, Lin Xian felt more at ease. She was worried that Night Sorrow would act impulsively. She found that Night Sorrow cared a lot about the information about the Emperor-level White Tiger's blood essence and the Emperor-level Dragon's blood essence. He would ask about it almost every day. Chapter 1679. This matter was not difficult for Lin Xianer. She did not say anything because Wu Lingfei's current situation was not critical and she could still hold on. Furthermore, Lin Xianer believed that the existence of the evil dragon Poison Flame was currently harmful to Wu Lingfei, but in the long run, it was also a test of her endurance and tenacity. It was also a training process for her body. In addition, out of concern for Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow also had the motivation to work hard. Xia Ho and the other 2 arrived at the Star Moon Mountain Villa. Your Highness, they've gone too far. The 3 of us will go fight them. Xia Ho's eyes were full of anger. He, Xian Daozi, and Sheng Wanhong knew that Star Moon Lake was surrounded and were very angry, so they came to Night Sorrow to ask for help. Back then, the 3 of them had followed Night Sorrow and rampaged through the Chaos Realm, killing everyone. Now, it was difficult for them to accept this. They've gone too far. Uncles, don't be anxious. We must vent our anger. I have a plan, but it will have to wait, Night Sorrow said. Your Highness has a plan, so we'll wait. When your Highness wants to go out, you must call the 3 of us. Dong Hao Mountain is strong now, but in our eyes, they're trash. How many years have they been developing? Give your Highness some time, even if it's 100th of the time, and your Highness can easily crush them, Sheng Wanhong said. I remember that Uncle Shengwan is the most stable. Why are you so agitated this time? Night Sorrow took out a tea set and brewed a pot of tea. It's not that I'm agitated, it's that Dong Hao Mountain is too despicable. Even if we can't beat them, we still have to fight, Sheng Wanhong said. Your Highness, you don't know, but this hypocrite's temper has become very bad after staying with your Highness. If it's not killing this person, it's killing that person, Summer City said. This is the courage of the people of the Chaos Realm. Uncles, go back first. When we kill and burn, I'll definitely call the 3 of you. We have to vent our anger, Night Sorrow said. Summer City and the other 2 left. After getting the answer they wanted, they returned to Lin High Street. Right after the 3 from Summer City left, the members of the God-slaying squad arrived. Long Jin, Liang Yu, Yun Huang, and Qin Jin came together. Their goal was the same as the three from Summer City, which was to represent the god-slaying squad in battle. Haha. Uncle Xia and the others just came. Just like you guys, they also want to fight. Actually, the one who wants to fight the most is me, but I'm still lacking the right time. Go back and wait for the news. Don't give in when I'm about to fight, Night Sorrow said. More I equals new/most I, fast. Previous AD, Captain, you're wrong. When have we, the god-slaying squad, ever been soft? When will I, Long Jean, ever be soft? Then let's go back and wait for orders. Long Jean left with Liang Yu, Yun Huang, and Qin Zhen. Your primal chaos realm is quite interesting. Donghao Mountain can easily produce a heavenly monarch, right? The people around you are all kings and sovereigns, but you still want to fight. Looking at your aura, those who don't know would think that you are a group of emperors. Zhang Ning, who had come to see Lin Xianer and had tea with her, said, this has nothing to do with cultivation. It's strength of character and bravery. With such a fearless group of people, it's hard for the primal chaos realm not to rise. Lin Xianer directly refuted Zhang Ning's words. People with bravery and strength of character could not be underestimated and had to be respected. Yes, we are not afraid of any battle. As long as someone dares to bully us, we will fight back. We just need to wait a little longer. There's still the World Edge Pavilion. This matter is not over yet. Night Sorrow finished speaking and went to the training ground to continue practicing his spear. The World Edge Pavilion is really something. Why did they get involved in this mess for no reason? They know that Starmoon Lake is a force recognized by the Ethereal Dynasty and Night Sorrow is a lord recognized by the Ethereal Dynasty. They are really brainless. Lin Xianer was a little angry because the World Edge Pavilion did not give her any face. I should have told Lord Battle Emperor to send an army over to kill them, Zhang Ning muttered. There's no hurry. The Ethereal Dynasty's attention should be on the Celestial Sect now. Besides, Wufeng Mansion has just been established and needs to be stabilized. Let Donghao Mountain and the World Edge Pavilion jump around. I have a feeling that they won't be able to jump around for long, Lin Xianer said. Why do you say that, Sister Xianer? Zhang Ning did not understand. That's a ruthless person. He cultivated to the Emperor realm in 200 years. What will he be like in another 200 years? Sigh. Why are there always people who can't see through it? Are they really blind because their lives are over? I really don't know how to explain this phenomenon, Lin Xianer said. It can only be explained by being blind. Sister Xianer, that Twilight Tea House is really good. Yesterday, I took Wufeng to the Snow Grace Pavilion and felt that it was really good. They really do business there. The environment, the tea, and the service are all first class. The 2000 Saint Spirit stones are really worth it. Sister Xianer, shall we try it tonight? Zhang Ning looked at Lin Xianer and asked. You only felt it when you went with Wufeng. If I want to go, I'll go alone. Night Sorrow and the Luo can also go with me, Lin Xianer said. What's going on? Why aren't you going with me? Zhang Ning was stunned and asked. I won't disturb you. Wufeng is not good at communicating. You should help with the construction of Wufeng Mansion. Also, go and inform the people of Gong Yufan's family to not have any ideas. This way, they can live peacefully, Lin Xianer said to Zhang Ning. She didn't want to kill anyone, so she reminded him. If the people of Gong Yufan dared to cause trouble, even if she didn't want to kill them, there would be people who would. After Zhang Ning left, Lin Xianer watched Night Sorrow cultivate the spacetime domain. Seeing the power of Night Sorrow's spacetime domain, she was very impressed. As long as one couldn't suppress Night Sorrow in terms of domain, it would be very difficult to defeat Night Sorrow. In the spacetime domain, the effects of time acceleration and deceleration were very obvious. The space was layered and it was very difficult to attack Night Sorrow, unless the attack was very powerful. Seeing that Night Sorrow had finished cultivating, Lin Xianer clapped her hands and said, "Night Sorrow, your space-time domain is really powerful. If I can't suppress your domain, it will be very difficult to fight with you. The space-time domain is very strong, but there is still the sovereign attribute domain. I can't relax at all." Night Sorrow said. "You're right. However, it's extremely rare to see someone with the sovereign attribute. Currently, there are Emperor Realm cultivators with the sovereign attribute, but they are all stuck at a bottleneck. It took them countless years to deduce that they have the sovereign attribute. It's not necessarily complete. How can such people be emperors or monarchs? They might even be emperors. There won't be any conflict between you and them. You're too tired. Let's go to Twilight Tea House's admiring moon pavilion. It's so famous, it would be a pity if we don't try it." Lin Xianer said. "Sure. Ji Dao, where's Aluo?" Night Sorrow asked Ji Dao. The madams went out together. "I wanted to protect them, but I was chased back," Ji Dao said. Chapter 1680. Night Sorrow and Lin Xianer arrived at the Twilight Tea House. A receptionist welcomed them and they went to the moon admiring pavilion. It's really beautiful, the design is very original. After sitting down, Lin Xianer said. There was no need for the staff. Night Sorrow was a tea master himself. After cleaning the tea set, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of heart-cleansing tea. Lin Xianer took a sip of tea. After the effects of the heart-cleansing tea were felt, she raised her head and looked at the bright moon in the sky. I've lived in the heaven realm for many years, but this is the first time I feel that the moon is so beautiful. It's as clean as water. Isn't it written on the door of the Twilight Tea House's moon admiring pavilion that there are moons everywhere in the world, only the twilight moon is different? This shouldn't be an exaggeration, right? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. Tell your sworn brother to stop business for 2 days and change the structure slightly. Just raise the price and double it. People with deep pockets won't care about such a small price like drinking tea. It will only make the Twilight Tea House more famous and become a unique symbol of the ethereal dynasty. Lin Xianer said. My sworn brother is good at doing business. Sister Xianer is good at this too. Night Sorrow asked with a smile. This involves the inner thoughts of people. If it's too easy to get, it won't be precious. Lin Xianer explained. At this time, Chen Chen came and brought 2 plates of tea and snacks. Night Sorrow introduced Chen Chen and Lin Xianer to each other. Night Sorrow, do you remember this tea and snacks? Chen Chen looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes. The osmanthus cake from Zhuyuan village. It's been many years and it's always been in the depths of my memory. Don't sell this. If others can't appreciate it, it'll blaspheme the beauty in our hearts. Night Sorrow nodded. This was something in the depths of his memory. When he went hunting, Aunt Lin made this and then wrapped it in oil paper for him to carry. V. Yong, Jiu and I Free read, Novel 7-inch mm. This isn't for sale. Your sister-in-law made it. It's only for our family to try. Chen Chen said with a smile. Sister Xianer, this is my favorite thing when I was young. Night Sorrow took the tea and refreshments plate and put it in front of Lin Xianer. If you don't want to share it with others, then I have to try it. Lin Xianer smiled and took a piece, then tasted it. I don't know if others can appreciate it, but I like it very much. The next time I come, Boss Chen can give me a plate. If Miss Lin likes it, that's not a problem. In fact, deep down, I still hope that someone will appreciate the things I like, Chen Chen said. I really admire you. I'm not just being polite. Lin Xian nodded. Just enjoy it. Night Sorrow, I have good news for you. Do you know about the enlightenment tea produced in the unbounded wilderness of the 9 regions world? Chen Chen looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow nodded. Yeah, I've tasted it before, but it's very rare. I only managed to get a little bit of it when I was helping the realm of unbounded desolation. He remembered that the Lord of Roaring Tiger City had given Wu Lingfei some. The good news is that I've successfully planted and grafted it. The first batch of enlightenment tea has been produced. Chen Chen took out a small teapot and placed it in front of Night Sorrow. Brother, let's not talk about your cultivation talent, but you're definitely a genius in other aspects, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then, Chen Chen left. Let's go. Let's go somewhere else and try the enlightenment tea again, Night Sorrow said, holding the pot of enlightenment tea. Lin Xianer nodded and carried the tea and snacks tray. Night Sorrow smiled and took Lin Xianer to the Shuya pavilion, then brewed a pot of enlightenment tea. After drinking it, Lin Xianer was quiet for a while, then opened her eyes. The way of tea is really broad and profound. This enlightenment tea will be a great shock. The Twilight Tea House is amazing. You have a VIP card. What are you worried about? You can come whenever you want, Night Sorrow said. The VIP card only proves that you have a seat. Do you think you don't need to spend sacred spirit stones? Song Ning and Wu Fing came over. No. The isolation formation here isn't strong enough. We'll have to ask someone to take care of it when the time comes, Night Sorrow said. What? When you came, we just happened to see it. We didn't scout it, Song Ning said as he sat down. You have a VIP card, but you're still not satisfied. You want to eat and drink for free. Night Sorrow said to Song Ning, who reached out to eat from the tea and snacks tray in front of Lin Xianer. All right. It's a pity that I didn't invest in this good business. If I had shares here, I'd be eating and drinking for free. Song Ning took a bite of the osmanthus cake and reached out to take it again, but Lin Xianer slapped his hand away. Sister Xianer, you. Song Ning was stunned. This is mine. If you want to eat it, think of a way, Lin Xianer said. I'll ask someone for it. I'll call the waiter. Song Ning pulled a rope in the pavilion. It was the copper bell used to summon the waiter. The waiter came and bowed. What can I do for you, sir? Give me 2 servings of this. Song Ning pointed at the osmanthus cake in front of Lin Xianer. Sir, I'm sorry. That's our madam's cooking. It's only for the owner to taste. The Twilight Tea House doesn't have this kind of dessert. Sir, you should look at something else. The waiter bowed. Kid, look carefully. I'm your VIP here. Song Ning took out the VIP card and waved it. The VIP card was issued by our domain master. It proves that you're our domain master's friend. Friends should respect each other and not be above friends. Please don't make things difficult for us. The waiter said in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. Aren't you afraid of offending your domain master and making her angry? I'll talk to your domain master about this in a while. Song Ning said. I'm afraid, but I'm from Bamboo Garden City. I'm from the same place as our domain master. Even if I lose my head in the next moment, I can't embarrass our Bamboo Garden City. The young waiter said. Just wait to be dealt with. Wait to lose your head. Song Ning slammed the table. If the domain master wants to punish me, there's no need for him to do anything. My head will come off for me. However, I can only say one thing. It's blasphemous for the Twilight Tea House's VIP card to be in your hands. The young waiter looked a little angry. AI, Night Sorrow, you win. Song Ning sighed, because this young man, who had no cultivation, had never said anything that would cause him to lose his dignity, even if he was just an attendant. No one blames you. I'm more than happy to see a young man like you. Bamboo Garden City. I haven't returned to Bamboo Garden City for a while. I'll proudly say this. I'm the pride of Bamboo Garden City, and so are you. Tsang-Ning, don't scare the children of Bamboo Garden City in the future. Night Sorrow said. You're Night. You're the domain master. The young man recognized Night Sorrow after looking at him. There were many statues of Night Sorrow in the 9-domain world. However, the young man had encountered difficulties when he entered the pavilion and did not recognize him. Chapter 1681. Xiao Mo greets the region leader. The young man bowed to Night Sorrow. You look familiar, but I can't tell. Maybe it's because we were born in the same place. Night Sorrow looked at Xiao Mo and said. My ancestor is from Zhuyuan village. His name is Xiao Kuan. According to the genealogy, my ancestor and the region leader knew each other. Xiao Mo said. Xiao Kuan, Aunt Lin's son. I grew up wearing the clothes that your ancestor, Aunt Lin, sewed. I didn't take care of Aunt Lin and the others. Night Sorrow felt a little sour because the elders of Zhuyuan village had all passed away. At that time, he didn't have the limitless longevity fruit. I'm very happy to see the region leader here. The young Xiao Mo said. Follow Boss Chen and gain experience. You can't fall behind in your cultivation. That's the only way to gain dignity. Night Sorrow said. Xiao Mo understands. Xiao Mo nodded. You'll have a bright future. Go. Tell my sworn brother to bring 2 plates of tea and snacks. Night Sorrow was very pleased. Although Xiao Mo's cultivation was low, his arrogance was in his bones. Night Sorrow, I'm sorry. I was just teasing him and got myself confused. Tsang-Ning said apologetically. It's nothing. When I saw the descendants of Bamboo Garden Village, I felt quite emotional. The osmanthus cake in my memory was made for me by his ancestor, Auntie Lin. At that time, it was Auntie Lin who helped me sew and mend my clothes. This child has a backbone. I'm very gratified, said Yi Shang. We have more cultivation than him. In terms of personality, dignity, and strength of character, we don't have any sense of superiority. So he doesn't have stage fright at all. He may be afraid, but he definitely won't back down. Lin Xian said. After drinking tea, Night Sorrow went to Chin Chin. Because of Xiao Mo. He told me. Chin Chin said. Yes, I want this person, Night Sorrow said. When I saw him, I thought about this problem. I felt that it was important to first train his social experience and develop his character, so I arranged for him to stay in the tea house. He had been working in 9 Region City some time ago, and he had just brought him over. I think it's more suitable for you to train for a while longer. As for the cultivation foundation, no matter how useless your sworn brother is, it shouldn't be a problem for him to cultivate a foundation, Chin Chin said. I was too anxious. Then we'll do as my sworn brother says. He did very well today. Also, if anyone tries to make things difficult for us, there's no need to compromise. We're doing business, not selling our face or dignity, Night Sorrow emphasized his attitude, then continued with Lin Xian, her suggestion before leaving. Night Sorrow, you're not really angry, are you? Tsang-Ning, who was waiting at the door, asked. No, I just think that this reflects a problem. Twilight Tea House is doing business, so there will be all kinds of customers, so principles are very important, Night Sorrow said after leaving the Twilight Tea House. It's very simple. Tomorrow, I'll ask the War Emperor to write a plaque. People with low morals won't dare to mess around. Sister Xian, don't you think so? Tsang-Ning looked at Lin Xian. Yes, it's very necessary. Lin Xian nodded with a smile. Tsang-Ning was using her as a favor. That's not very appropriate, is it? It's a little unreasonable to trouble the War Emperor with this matter, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, I apologize for touching some of the pain in your heart with my joke today, Tsang Ning said. Boss Tsang, you're boring. Everyone knows you were joking. Also, you helped me find an old friend, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow, I like this Xiao Mo very much. Let him calm down in the tea house. When the time comes, I'll take him away, Wu Feng, who had been silent all this time, said. Thank you, big brother. Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Feng. I like his character, I like his bravery. Wu Feng said the reason why he admired Xiao Mo. Night Sorrow and Lin Xian returned to Star Moon Mountain Villa. After chatting with his wives who had not returned to the Nine Regions world for a while, they continued to cultivate. At this time, the energy fluctuations on Night Sorrow's body were very strong. Even the leakless true body could not suppress it. This was a sign that his main body's cultivation was rapidly increasing. He was more anxious because Dong Hao Mountain was very arrogant now. They had surrounded Star Moon Lake. This was a slap in the face, which made many people angry. Tsang Ning went to the Linglong Pagoda in the city lord's mansion and found Lin Piaomiao. She came with a blank signboard. You want me to do something? Next time, do it yourself. Lin Piaomiao glared at Tsang Ning. However, she waved her right hand and carved the words Twilight Tea House on the signboard. Thank you, Sister Xian. The osmanthus cake today was really delicious, Tsang Ning said with a smile. You're such a bastard. Are you planning to take this signboard to the Twilight Tea House and make them feel grateful? Then you can do whatever you want and eat whatever you want. Is that what you're trying to say? Lin Xian looked at Tsang Ning and scolded him because she knew what he was thinking. Sister Xian, you just casually waved it. If there's good food, I'll definitely share it with you, Tsang Ning said. Do I need you? If I want to eat, is there no way? Lin Xian glared at Tsang Ning and then went back to the Linglong Pagoda. Tsang Ning didn't put the signboard into his storage ring. He carried it with one hand and went to Twilight Tea House. He stood at the door and shouted to the receptionist, Lord Battle Emperor personally bestowed this signboard. Tell your boss to come and receive it. The only authentic copy, the other, pirated copy Lord Battle Emperor personally bestowing a signboard was a big deal. Currently, only the signboard of the 7th City Lord's residence had been personally bestowed by Lord Battle Emperor. There was no Lord Battle Emperor's handwriting left behind. Now that Tsang Ning had brought Lord Battle Emperor's handwriting, Twilight Tea House had to welcome him respectfully. Chen Chen and the Twilight Tea House's receptionist took the signboard and hung it up. Chen Chen thanks Lord. Chen Chen cupped his hands to Tsang Ning to express his gratitude. After coming to the ethereal imperial city to do business, Chen Chen already knew most of the important people in the ethereal imperial city. You're welcome. I'm Night Sorrow's friend, so I won't be stingy if it's within my power. However, Boss Chen, you can't be stingy with your refreshments. Tsang Ning's voice was lower when he said the last sentence. Refreshments. I understand. Chen Chen was stunned for a moment, then he remembered what happened not long ago. That's good. With the signboard bestowed by Lord Battle Emperor, no one will dare to make trouble in the future. If anyone makes trouble, you can take down the signboard and give it to him to smash. Let's see who dares to smash it. Tsang Ning pointed at the signboard and said. Thank you for your advice, Lord. Chen Chen smiled. Do you think it's easy to shamelessly ask for a signboard? Tsang Ning muttered. It's not easy for Lord. In the future, I'll give you a discount and a VIP card when you come here. I'll make a mark so that the people below will understand. Chen Chen said. She took the VIP card with a mark and left. She was in a great mood. She didn't need the Holy Spirit stones. What she wanted was the feeling and the face. Of course, Twilight Tea House also gained a lot. The Lord Battle Emperor bestowed a signboard, which meant that Lord Battle Emperor was very sure of this place. How could business not be good? And NB says here's the first update. Chapter 1682. Father, it's so rare for the War Emperor to bestow us a plaque. He looked at the plaque excitedly. Hard to come by. It's all because of your uncle. Do you think he'll give us a plaque for tea and snacks? It's all because of your uncle. If the War Emperor didn't value your uncle, there wouldn't be a lord. Chen Chen looked at his son and said. He felt that Chen Jukong was a little silly. In fact, it was not that. He just didn't think about anything and thought too simply. Chen Chen then went to the Night Moon Villa. He wanted to tell Night Sorrow about receiving the plaque. If there was a favor or something wrong, Night Sorrow could deal with it in time. After receiving this news, Night Sorrow smiled. I know about this. It's okay to accept it. It's just a tea house. We're not using the plaque for anything. It's good that you know. I don't care about the favor. You can pay it back when the time comes. Chen Chen said. Night Sorrow sent Chen Chen away. He didn't care much about this matter. A favor was nothing. Your adopted brother is not bad. He's doing well in business and he's also very principled, Lin Xian said. He's afraid of bringing me trouble or a favor. It's mainly because he understands me better. Night Sorrow said. The people around you are good. They're all so strong. There's no deception. Lin Xian was very envious of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow only needed to focus on external affairs. His internal affairs were incomparably harmonious. It wasn't like this before. It was like the waves washing away the sand. The trash in our world who couldn't keep up with the pace were all eliminated. It's also been through the baptism of many wars. Night Sorrow said. Just like the ethereal dynasty, 2 vermin have been eliminated recently. Lin Xian nodded. The survival of the fittest. Those who were not suitable were eliminated. This was the rule. Sikong Chuyu held a family banquet and Night Sorrow invited Lin Xianer, who lived in the Night Moon Villa, to attend. Originally, Night Sorrow had planned to invite Wu Feng because he knew that Wu Feng did not have any relatives. However, she was stopped by Lin Xianer. I didn't guess wrong, Zhang Ning and Wu Feng are together. She must have gone to the Twilight Tea House. Haha. Not bad. Big brother Wu Feng is introverted, old and strong. We complement each other well, Night Sorrow said with a smile. You can tell as well. Lin Xianer asked as she looked at Night Sorrow. Of course, I can. From his actions, I can see that when Brother Seamless has something to do, Old Man Song would immediately take action without saying anything. When we went to the evil punishing land, Brother Wu Feng would never leave Old Man Song's side. That's how it is. Night Sorrow explained what he saw. Wu Feng has a repressed past, so he is a bit of a loner. However, he treats the people he recognizes with sincerity and is a rare good friend. There is good karma between the two of you. Of course, not everyone can be your friend, Yi Shang, Lin Xian said. A repressed past can be considered a knot in one's heart. Only when the knot is untied can one be happy. I was the same in the past. I couldn't find my parents and my family was suppressed. My life was more tiring and difficult. You could say that there was no reason for me to be happy. However, since we've made it through, I believe that Big Brother Wu Feng can overcome these difficulties, Night Sorrow said after inviting Lin Xianer to sit down. Yi Qingyan greeted Lin Xianer as Aunt Xianer and sat beside her. Yi Yujun and Yi Xiaolei also greeted them. Yi Xiaolua was not here, as he had returned to the Yuan Dao Celestial to cultivate. Night Sorrow, I really envy you. You can have a family reunion. Lin Xianer was a bit touched because she had not experienced such an atmosphere in a long time. It's simple. Find a good person and marry him. Then you will have everything, Yi Qingyan said. You said it yourself. Find a good person and marry him. Are there so many good people? Lin Xianer smiled and looked at Yi Qingyan. That's true. My mother always talks about me, but how can there be so many good men in the world? Besides, women don't have to marry. The Misty Battle Emperor isn't married either, right? Look at him. He is so mighty and domineering. Yi Qingyan nodded. How can a child make so many guesses? Night Sorrow muttered. His wives were the ones who worried about the children. He did not ask about their daily lives. Father, this is not guessing. There is no woman who doesn't want to marry. It's just that they can't find the right person. I have never seen the Battle Emperor, but as a woman, I can understand some things. Father, this is what you don't understand. Yi Qingyan poured Night Sorrow a cup of wine and said. And, if you don't understand, then don't understand. Night Sorrow did not say anything else because this was something he did not understand. Night Sorrow cultivated every day. However, he noticed that Lin Xianer's attitude had changed. She had actually opened her mouth to give Yi Qingyan pointers. Night Sorrow was grateful, but he did not say anything. Some things were enough for him to know. Yi Shang looked at Lin Xianer when he was resting after cultivating once more. Sister Xianer, I wonder when the Battle Emperor will allow us to enter evil punishing land again. Waiting like this is not a solution, Night Sorrow said. There's no rush. Actually, waiting for a while is also a good thing, Lin Xianer said. Sister Xianer, I don't understand what you mean. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Xianer in confusion, waiting for her to explain. You've obtained a lot of merit power this time. You have to stabilize it first. When your merit power is completely stabilized, you can enter evil punishing land again and obtain more merit power. You have to know that merit power is not easy to come by, Lin Xianer said. I did gain a lot last time. My merit power increased by a lot. I'm now at the threshold of the merit great sage. If I improve further, I'll be at the peak of the merit heavenly monarch. However, the merit heavenly monarch is actually just a transitional stage. It's not like cultivation and realms where there are bottlenecks. Maybe I'll be stuck at the peak of the merit heavenly monarch, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, I only know about the body of merit from ancient records. I don't know the specifics. What's your situation now? Lin Xianer asked. What's the situation? I've always been using my own cultivation to fight. I don't want to use merit power to suppress others. If I use it, I can instantly suppress those below the heavenly monarch level. This is the power of my words. Night Sorrow explained his situation. Then why don't you use it? Lin Xianer asked. Everyone here is a cultivator. Cultivation is something that is painstakingly cultivated. Using our cultivation to kill our opponents is a fair way of doing things, said Yi Shang. You're mistaken. Did you pick up your body of merit? You obtained it by benefiting the world. It's accumulated step by step. The heavens gave you merit power for you to use so that you can do more things. It's not just for decoration. Lin Xianer corrected Night Sorrow's thoughts. And NB genuine initials #forward, I understand. If there's still no news after a while, I'll have to trouble Boss Tsang to ask. After helping Sister Xianer make a trip, I can fight with Dong Hao Mountain. Night Sorrow heaved a sigh of relief. He wanted to solve the matter of Lin Xianer looking for Gue while his cultivation was increasing. And NB says here's the second update. Chapter 1683. Dong Hao Jue led his men to set up many strongholds and sealed off the Star Moon Lake. There were also patrols going back and forth between the strongholds. He did not want the Star Moon Lake to have any channels of entry and exit. Young master, they have teleportation arrays that are connected to the outside. We can't seal them off, said Dong Haojue. The leader of the guards under Dong Haojue's command, Qing Mink, said. He was a demonic beast, Qing Mink. He was a shape-shifting demonic beast, so his name was Qing Mink. Don't worry. We are doing this to weaken his morale. I have already sent people to find out his whereabouts. We will destroy his morale first and then capture him. He will be doomed eternally, said Dong Haojue. Dong Haojue had a plan. If Qing Mink could think of it, so could he. He was forcing the Star Moon Lake to not develop for the time being so that Night Sorrow could not stabilize. This was because he and Night Sorrow were not in the same God-fiend castle region. If they were, he would have more ways to trick Night Sorrow. They were not in the same region. Although Dong Haojue was an elder of the God-fiend castle in the Dong Haojue region, he was not an elder with real power. The one in charge was Elder Chiu. He could only obtain some information but could not control it. Hence, he could not use the God-fiend castle to deal with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow organized a batch of teleportation stones. It was important to move quickly in a war. If he wanted to fight with the Dong Haojue region, he had to be prepared before the war. On this day, Yi Shang was cultivating when he suddenly stopped. What's wrong? Asked Sikong Chiyu. She was cultivating with Night Sorrow. Ha! A senior is here. I don't need to receive him. I will be there soon, said Night Sorrow with a smile. At this moment, a few people walked out of the teleportation array. They were Shi Lai, Shi Yu, and Shi Tai. They were accompanied by Lord Yuandao. Night Sorrow knew when Shi Lai and the other two appeared in the teleportation array. Shi Lai was a one-star emperor, so he was not worried about being threatened. Besides, he trusted him very much. He let Shi Lai and the other two take the teleportation array to the Star Moon Lake. There was no need for Night Sorrow to receive them as Lord Yuandao sent them over. Uncle Lai, greeted Night Sorrow. Ha! Brat Yi, you're really something. Uncle Lai just broke through not long ago, and you're already ahead of him. Seeing Night Sorrow's cultivation base, Shelia was shocked. Every time they met, Night Sorrow would undergo a world-shaking transformation. Uncle Lai, you're exaggerating. I just broke through not too long ago. Night Sorrow introduced Shelia to his wife and daughter. However, Lin Xian'er was not around and she did not like such social interactions unless it was unavoidable. While chatting, Night Sorrow talked about his current situation in the celestial realm, but did not mention that he was besieged by Mount Donghao. Night Sorrow, father has just come out, so he doesn't know what's going on. However, I've stayed in the primal chaos realm for a while. I've been to Star Moon City before, so I know what's going on at East Hao Mountain, Shi Tai said. It's nothing. It's just a temporary predicament, said Night Sorrow. Uncle Lai has just entered the 9th rank, so there's a limit to how much he can help you. Uncle Lai's avatar will stay in Star Moon City later. Star Moon City has a defensive array. If they want to break in, Uncle Lai will be able to fight back. In addition, Uncle Lai also sensed that there's an Emperor Realm expert in Star Moon City, said Shelia. Night Sorrow did not hide anything and told him about the metal spirit. However, he only gave a rough explanation. Defend it well first, then we'll consider fighting back. Shelia was also hot-tempered. Uncle Lai, is this appropriate? Night Sorrow asked. He did not want to implicate others. There's nothing inappropriate about it. Although the Ice Dragon realm is made up of dragons, it's still part of the Primal Chaos realm. You can do whatever you want, said Shelia. All right. With Uncle Lai in Star Moon City, I'll feel more at ease. Chuyu, 9th senior sister, entertain Uncle Lai for the next few days. As for the other two, don't worry about them, said Night Sorrow to Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei. What are you talking about? Why don't we care? Shiyu curled her lips. Is there a problem with you guys taking care of yourselves? Do you still have to treat me as an outsider? Said Night Sorrow. That's right. There's no need to treat me as an outsider, said Shitai with a smile. After settling Shilia and the other two, the Divine Devil Castle token in Night Sorrow's sleeves vibrated. Knowing that it was a message from the Divine Devil Castle, Night Sorrow arrived at the Divine Devil Castle. It was to exchange for a token. Night Sorrow did not do many missions, but because the missions he did were more outstanding, coupled with his fierce increase in cultivation and great potential, his identity and status had increased a lot. The Divine Devil Castle had already recognized him as a protector. Missions? I haven't done any missions recently, said Night Sorrow. He still wanted to exchange for top-grade resources. Missions don't come often. Even if there are, they might not be suitable for you. However, if there is one suitable for you, I'll definitely look for you, said Leng Lai. Night Sorrow left a jar of wine for Elder Nalan and Leng Lai before leaving the Divine Devil Castle. Did you see that? The energy fluctuation on his body is extremely strong. It's a sign that his main body's energy cultivation is increasing rapidly. This Dong Hao is definitely trying to shoot himself in the foot, said Elder Nalan. What can we do? Everyone thinks that they can be arrogant. Can't you see it now? Whoever is arrogant will die. Your Lord Battle Emperor is currently supporting Moonstar Lake, said Leng Lai. Yes, there's nothing that Lord Battle Emperor doesn't know about in the Mishti dynasty. That's why he made these arrangements. Dong Hao is completely muddle-headed for wanting to take advantage of this loophole. Even if he wins, so what? If he doesn't give Lord Battle Emperor face, the next time Dong Hao Mountain and the Misty Dynasty have a conflict, even if it's a small one, Lord Battle Emperor will kill him, said Elder Nalan. Haha. Yes, no matter how magnanimous Lord Battle Emperor is, he can't forget that she's a woman. If he doesn't give Lord Battle Emperor face, the consequences will be severe, laughed Leng Lai. In order to make Night Sorrow feel more at ease, Lin Xian asked Sang Ning to tell Night Sorrow that the next time they enter Evil Punisher Land was set. It was set to be 3 years later. Lin Xianer had decided on 3 years because she felt that Yi Shang would be able to completely stabilize the power of virtue in his body. In addition, if she gave Yi Shang an accurate amount of time, Yi Shang would not be anxious about his own matters. After knowing the accurate time, Night Sorrow met Lin Xian and told her about it. 3 years. They really care about us. You have to know that the opening of Evil Punisher Land lasts for millions of years. I thought that it would be good if they could arrange it within 100 years, said Lin Xian with a smile. As long as Sister Xian can accept it, Night Sorrow put the matter aside after hearing Lin Xian's words. He was worried that Lin Xian would be anxious. See chapter YP, N, on verse 4. Because the Misty Battle Emperor was taking great care of Star Moon Lake, Night Sorrow didn't want to do anything without a reason. Moreover, it wasn't as if the Misty Battle Emperor didn't agree. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. The energy fluctuations on Night Sorrow's body were not obvious because his energy cultivation base was very close to his realm. He wasn't far from saturation. When the cultivation base of his main body was about to end, Night Sorrow started to take action. First, he sent out the doppelgangers of the god-slaying team to scout for information. He wanted a map of Dong Hao Mountain's strength, and the important thing was the marking of the cities. Since they were going to fight, Night Sorrow wanted to make Dong Hao Mountain unable to withstand it. Chapter 1684. Everyone in the Starmoon Mountain Villa knew that Night Sorrow was about to make a move. Lin Xian also went to look for Night Sorrow to ask if he needed her help. Thank you, Sister Xian This is a matter of the chaotic realm, so I won't drag you down with me, Night Sorrow said. This time, he did not intend to ask anyone for help. If you need anything, just let me know, Lin Xian expressed her attitude. Sister Xian, between you and old Song, who is close to the ethereal battle emperor? Night Sorrow asked. More or less, but I don't contact him much. What's the matter? Lin Xian paused for a moment before saying. This time, I plan to give the East Hao Mountain a big blow. The East Hao Mountain does not dare to attack the Star Moon Lake because I have the ethereal dynasty's power. I have to greet the battle emperor. This is a favor that I, Night Sorrow, owe him, Night Sorrow said. Actually, it's not that. The ethereal battle emperor should have thought of this long ago and made preparations, Lin Xian said. There are some things that need to be explained, Yishan said. Then I'll go greet him, Lin Xian nodded. She admired Night Sorrow the most. He was responsible for everything he did. The members of the god-slaying team sent back news that Night Sorrow was drawing the layout of the East Hao Mountain. At the same time, Night Sorrow's original body had returned. If they were going to fight, they would go all out. When all the news was sent back, Night Sorrow drew a map of the East Hao Mountain. White areas were unimportant areas, red areas were areas that could not be attacked, and green areas were areas that Night Sorrow wanted to attack this time. Everyone, stay at Starmoon Mountain Villa and wait for orders. Yishan instructed the god-slaying squad, Xia Qing, and the others before leaving. After Night Sorrow left, Zhang Ning and Wu Fing arrived at the Starmoon Mountain Villa. Both of them looked worried. The East Haze Mountain is nothing to the Mishti dynasty. However, to the Starmoon Lake, it is an unshakable behemoth, Zhang Ning said in a worried tone. Don't worry, our captain is good at fighting the strong as the weak. In the past, there were many opponents who were stronger than us, but our captain can still take them down, Yunhuang said. He had full confidence in Night Sorrow. Yunhuang wasn't the only one who was confident in Night Sorrow. The other members of the god-slaying squad were the same. They were all in high spirits, waiting for their orders. Zhang Ning glanced at the members of the god-slaying team but did not say anything. Since Night Sorrow wanted to fight, she could not discourage him. At this time, Night Sorrow's true body and avatar had already separated. They had both arrived at the Eastern Sky Mountain region and were setting up a teleportation array. He had been preparing for this battle for more than half a year and had prepared many teleportation stones. This time, he was going to pay a great price to set up a teleportation array net so that he could attack the target city at any time. Since they were going to fight, Night Sorrow planned to cripple the East Haze Mountain. He wanted to deal a heavy blow to the East Haze Mountain and make them pay the price. He had a grudge with the East Haze Mountain because of the God-Fiend Castle's mission. If the East Haze Mountain wanted to kill him, then according to the God-Fiend Castle's rules, it was up to the East Haze Mountain if they could kill him. If the grudge was involved in a battle between factions, then they would not be able to afford it. The Eastern Sky region was very large, but Night Sorrow had a lot of choices when setting up the teleportation array. The areas that Night Sorrow set up the teleportation array were all cities that he had marked on the map. They were all cities that could be attacked and had resources. They were all cities that the East Haze Mountain could not teleport to immediately. His true body and avatar were setting up the array at the same time. In addition, Night Sorrow was now at the Emperor level. Although his array formation cultivation had not reached the Emperor level, his speed was much faster. Night Sorrow set up a teleportation array hidden in an illusion array outside the target city. In a month's time, Night Sorrow finished setting up the teleportation array network. He used up nearly 200 teleportation stones, which he had accumulated and purchased during this time. After everything was set up, Night Sorrow returned to the Star Moon Mountain Villa in the ethereal Imperial City. He then gathered the 3 people from Summer City and the members of the God-slaying team. He also called Ghost Monkey into the team. Datura also wanted to go. Night Sorrow thought about it and agreed. However, he only asked Datura's avatar to go. He himself would stay in the Night Moon Mountain Villa. After gathering everyone, Night Sorrow set off with his men. Lin Xian, and Song Ning were still drinking tea. Song Ning did not know what Lin Xian thought of this matter, but she felt that it was very dangerous. Everyone's path is different. This is his path. Your avatar will hide in the Star Moon City. If the East Haze Mountain makes any moves, you will stop them in time. If something happens to the Star Moon City, even if we destroy the East Haze Mountain, we will lose face, Lin Xian said. Okay. Don't worry, Mississippi. We will set off now. Song Ning nodded. She was staying here with her true body. Her avatar was on the blood battle platform. After hearing Lin Xian's order, her avatar had already set off. After teleporting once, Night Sorrow kept everyone in the clear sky pagoda and teleported himself. Night Sorrow teleported himself many times. He arrived at the teleportation array outside the target city. He then entered the clear sky pagoda. The clear county city is outside. It is one of the 3 revolving cities of the East Haze Mountain. I will enter the city to scout before attacking. Although you guys found that there are no Emperor Realm cultivators, safety is the most important thing, Night Sorrow said to the group. We are ready. Yun Huang and the others nodded. Remember one thing. Do not resist my soul power. We will kill and retreat as we wish. After that, we will clear the next city, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow went through the main points of the battle. Actually, it was the same as before. They had to be flexible and end the battle quickly. They must not linger. After making the necessary arrangements, Yishang exited the clear sky pagoda and rushed towards the city. There were guards at the city gates, so Yishang didn't use the city gates. His soul force probed an empty spot on the city walls, and he easily entered the city. After entering the city, Night Sorrow began his scouting operation. In fact, he was not afraid. As long as the East Haze Mountain Lord and Dong Haze Mountain were there, he would not be afraid even if there were Emperor Realm cultivators. He was cautious to prevent his subordinates from getting hurt. In addition, Night Sorrow could not afford to make a mistake. This time, Night Sorrow wanted to accumulate some resources for the Star Moon Lake while attacking the East Haze Mountain. Dong Haze Mountain was planning to seal off the resources of the Star Moon Lake. Night Sorrow was planning to rob the resources of the East Haze Mountain. After scouting around and confirming that there was nothing out of the ordinary, Night Sorrow separated from his clone. His clone went to the teleportation array and destroyed the seal while his main body went to the City Lord's mansion. Before arriving at the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow called everyone out. We have not robbed in a long time. One team from the God-slaying team will stay behind. The rest of you will attack in 2 teams. Luo and Ghost Monkey will lead 1 team each. If anything happens, report back immediately. Rob and burn all the properties belonging to the City Lord's mansion. This time, we will engage in an extermination battle. In other words, we will not rest until the East Haze Mountain is dead. 9 First Team. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the members of the God-slaying team were stunned. In the past, Night Sorrow only wanted to win the battle. This time, however, it did not seem to be the case. Chapter 1685. Night Sorrow had no plans to expand his territory. The current Chaos Realm was not suitable for that kind of development because the talents could not keep up. In the Celestial Realm, those who were not Heaven Monarchs could not do anything. There were only a few Heaven Monarchs in the Chaos Realm. If he took over the territory and gave it to the Ethereal Empire, it would be returning the favor of protecting them. This was also based on his principles. Night Sorrow did not want to be inferior to others when talking to them. If he owed them, he could not be righteous. Night Sorrow's clone arrived at the teleportation array. He did not even use his domain. He used the void steps and killed the guards of the teleportation array in a few flashes. He destroyed the teleportation array with one shot. Night Sorrow saw that the main body of the teleportation array was not small, so he dismantled it and put it away. Night Sorrow's main body, Long Jin, Yun Huang, and Liang Yu led a team of members of the God-slaying team, as well as the 3 from Summer City. They waited for the people from the City Lord Mansion to come out. Night Sorrow's space-time domain burst forth and enveloped the few heaven monarchs who rushed out. He used the destructive true dragon art and froze them. Then, he killed them with a few simple shots. Charge in and take out everything inside. Kill anyone who tries to stop you, then set them on fire. Night Sorrow's body flickered as he entered the City Lord's mansion. There was a teleportation array within the City Lord's mansion. The teleportation array in the City Lord mansion might be connected to various places in the city. Because the city was big, it took time to get to each place. It was much more convenient with the teleportation array. There was also the possibility that it was connected to other cities. Night Sorrow wanted to destroy it immediately. As for the team led by Datura and Ghost Monkey, Night Sorrow was not worried. Datura was a pseudo-emperor. Those below the Arch realm could not pose a threat to him. Ghost Monkey was also a powerful heaven monarch. He was ranked in the top of the heaven monarchs in the Guanyue mansion. After destroying the City Lord's mansion and destroying the teleportation formation, Night Sorrow did not continue to kill. As an emperor, killing King and Holy King did not give him much of a sense of accomplishment. After an hour of fighting, the 2 groups of people gathered at the City Lord's mansion. Datura handed a storage ring to Night Sorrow. This was the resource that her team had gathered. As for the other team, Qinzhen had handed over their resources to Ghost Monkey. Ghost Monkey did not care about the resources. He knew that in Night Sorrow's heart, the God-slaying squad was his true confidant, so he did not touch any of their resources. Don't resist. We're going to the next stop. Night Sorrow waved the reincarnation spear in his right hand and carved the word, Night, on one of the broken walls of the City Lord's mansion. Then, he put everyone into the clear sky pagoda. After combining with his clone, he activated the teleportation formation disk and went to the teleportation formation outside the city. After taking the teleportation formation to the next target city, Night Sorrow disconnected the teleportation formation that he had used and took the teleportation crystal. In the past, when he started a war in the primal chaos realm, Night Sorrow would use the spirit explosion array to destroy the teleportation formation every time he retreated. However, he could not do that now. In the primal chaos realm, the teleportation formation's teleportation distance was not large. It would be completed in a short moment. The spirit explosion array had a slow time to explode, so it did not affect the teleportation. However, it was not possible in the celestial realm. The teleportation formation in the celestial realm had a very large teleportation distance. One teleportation would take 15 minutes or even longer. This was also the reason why Lin Xian had taken more than half a day to go to the Heaven's Vault tribe. If the teleportation formation was destroyed during this time, then the person being teleported would be stuck in the void. Those who were strong could break through the void and return to the real world. Those who were weak would be killed by the spatial turbulence. Disconnecting the teleportation formation was also temporary. Night Sorrow had a plan. Now that he was here, disconnecting the teleportation formation was equivalent to cutting off the tail of the enemy's pursuit. The teleportation crystals in his hand all had serial numbers. In the future, if he wanted to teleport, he could just insert the teleportation crystal and split it. Of course, if the enemy found a diviner to divine, the teleportation formation would be destroyed. Night Sorrow had set up more than 200 teleportation formations. How much ability did the enemy's diviner have to divine? When teleporting, time and space would change. This would consume a lot of the diviner's energy. After swapping the teleportation crystal on the teleportation formation disk for Night Sorrow, he carried the clear sky pagoda and entered the target city. After investigating one round and finding no abnormalities, the original body and clone separated. The clone went to the teleportation formation while the original body went to the city lord's residence. After releasing the people, the original body went to the city lord's residence and started killing again. How could a city without Emperor Realm cultivators withstand Night Sorrow's attacks? Night Sorrow's original body and clone were equivalent to 2 emperors. Heaven monarchs and half-step emperors were all killed in an instant. After robbing, he set fire to the city lord's residence. Night Sorrow took out a map and made a mark on the city. Then, he put the people into the clear sky pagoda and went out of the city to teleport to the next target. And NB. Front page, first post after reaching the 3rd target city, Night Sorrow disconnected the teleportation formation and killed his way to the city lord's residence. Then, he released the people. A few people came out of the city lord's residence. The leader was a half-step emperor. "Who are you?" the half-step emperor asked. He didn't understand why someone would attack for no reason. "This is a clone. I won't ask where your original body is. If you don't want your original body to die, you need to hide well," Night Sorrow said. "Why?" The half-step emperor looked at Night Sorrow and asked. After knowing Night Sorrow's cultivation and determination, he didn't run because he couldn't. "My name is Night Sorrow. I come from Star Moon Lake. You will know the reason when you go back and ask Dong Haojue. He wants to fight with me, so I accept. Now, let the battle begin." After speaking, Night Sorrow's space-time domain burst forth. Destructive True Dragon Art and Void Extreme Kill took away the half-step emperor. Naturally, the battle that followed went smoothly. An hour later, everyone gathered in front of the city lord's residence. "Not bad. Today's target is 10 cities. Night Sorrow said. "Your Highness, it's so comfortable to kill them like this. So what if it's an Imperial Emperor's force? If we want to kill, we can kill." Sheng Wanhong's face was full of excitement. Annihilating an entire city in an hour was indeed fast. As night fell, Night Sorrow led his people to attack another city, which was the 10th city. After that, they teleported to their next target. After exiting the teleportation array, Night Sorrow removed the teleportation crystal that was connected to the previous teleportation array. Without stopping, he teleported back to his target city's teleportation array. The instant he finished teleporting, Night Sorrow entered the clear sky pagoda. He then smashed the clear sky pagoda to the ground, hiding it. Night Sorrow did this to avoid being divined by diviners. The teleportation array was surrounded by an illusion array. After divining, the diviners couldn't see the surroundings and couldn't determine the location. "Night Sorrow, what's the situation?" Datura asked. "We just finished dealing with the aftermath. Everyone, rest and recover. This is a space with 5 times acceleration. 1 night is enough for everyone to recover. After recovering, we will continue tomorrow," Night Sorrow said. "Ha! Sweeping 10 cities. This will definitely stun Dong Haoshan. The news has probably spread. They must be in chaos. Our Star Moon Lake is famous," Summer City said with a big laugh. And NB says here's the first update. Chapter 1686. In the ethereal imperial city, Night Moon Villa, Lin Xian Air, Tsang Ning, and Datura's original body were drinking tea. Datura told them about the results of today's battle. In fact, Lin Xian Air's original body in the city lord's residence had already received the news. In the celestial realm, the law of the jungle was the law of the jungle, but everyone was very cautious and would not easily start a conflict with others. There were not many battles between forces. Even if there were battles, it was the strong who fought the weak. Today, Star Moon Lake, which was not on the same level as Donghao Mountain, took the initiative to attack and destroy Donghao Mountain. This was beyond everyone's expectations and had overturned everyone's view of war. Be careful to hide your tracks. The other party has a divination master. If the divination master finds out where you're resting, it'll be troublesome, Lin Xian said. She wanted to use Devil's Snare to warn Yishang. Night Sorrow has thought about this before, but I don't know how he implemented it. The battle strategy was arranged by him, and we executed it under his leadership, Datura said. Sister Xian Air, Donghao Mountain is going to go crazy this time, right? The cities that Night Sorrow and the others destroyed were all well-developed and resource-rich cities. Many heavenly monarchs were also killed, Zhang Ning said. If Donghao Yunjie cannot find Night Sorrow's tracks and predict Night Sorrow's target, Donghao Mountain will lose this battle. This battle will also become a classic battle in the celestial realm, Lin Xianair said. Donghao Yunjie was the leader of Donghao Mountain. When we fought in the past, we directly pushed forward with people and horses. Everyone fought head-on. It was too crude. Even if there were sneak attacks, no one would play it so cleverly, Zhang Ning said. Normally, in a war between factions, it's a competition of strength. Whoever is weaker will be crushed. Once their base is attacked, they'll be destroyed. Night Sorrow's battle strategy can't be used by others. The point of view is that you have to be Wuyo or have no base to use it, Lin Xianair said. She had seen things very clearly. So Night Sorrow is very grateful to Misty Dynasty for protecting Star Moon Lake. After the battle, he should give Misty Dynasty an explanation, Datura said. She knew her husband very well. Explanation. What explanation do you need? Protect Star Moon Lake, isn't that what War Emperor said? Zhang Ning said. I haven't been married for a long time, Datura said, but I know him very well. His principles can't be changed. He doesn't owe anyone and he doesn't let himself lower his personality. I'm not sure I know what he's thinking. Is. What a tiring life. Zhang Ning muttered. But he lives with pride. No matter who he meets, he can speak with a straight back. He doesn't need to lower his posture. Ah Luo, tell him to be careful. Lin Xianair said. At this moment, the meeting hall of Donghao Mountain was filled with people. Donghao Yunjie sat in the main seat. Below him sat Donghao Ju and the elders of Donghao Mountain. There was also a divination master sitting cross-legged in the hall. Donghao Yunjie was very angry. An emperor dared to attack Donghao Mountain. This was a slap in the face of Donghao monarch. The divination master began from the body of the last city lord to be killed. At first, the scene was normal. However, after Night Sorrow was teleported, it was gray because there was an illusion array blocking the outside environment. In the end, the divination master saw Night Sorrow enter the spatial treasure and smash it into the ground. Mountain Lord, he must have purposely avoided being exposed. He must have thought about how to avoid being detected by divination. The pale-faced divination master bowed to Donghao Yunjie. Donghao Yunjie, who was sitting in the main seat, had a sharp face and an aquiline nose. His face was ashen because he couldn't find Night Sorrow's trace. He couldn't defend himself. Damn it. When we catch him, we'll make him beg for death. Donghao Ju was even angrier. Many people in the hall looked at him because this was caused by him leading people to surround Moonstar Lake. Watch it for free forever, the problem now is how to stop him from attacking our cities. 10 cities have been breached in one day, and we've lost tens of millions of Saint Spirit stones and countless resources. The cost of restoring our cities to normal is too great. If we can't catch him, we'll suffer more losses, said Donghao Yunjie. Mount Donghao was an old faction that had been developing for many years and had never been attacked. As such, the resources given to the city guards for their daily expenses and rewards were all stored there. There were millions of Saint Spirit stones, and the city lord's residents stored these resources because the city needed to be developed and constructed. Father, tomorrow, my original body and clone will go out and patrol the cities. Once we catch him, we can solve the problem and avenge my brother, said Dong Hao Ju. All right. Tomorrow, my main body and doppelganger will move out as well. Great Elder, Second Elder, you guys do the same. However, if you encounter him, the first thing you need to do is restrain him. According to the reports from our subordinates, he is not weak. Donghao Yunjie made the arrangements. Donghao Mountain had 4 monarch realm cultivators. Donghao Yunjie and Donghao Ju were monarchs while the Great Elder and Second Elder were 1-star monarchs. The path to becoming a monarch was very difficult. If you didn't break through to the monarch realm, it would be a smooth journey. It was very difficult to grasp the power of heaven and earth. Knight Sorrow was drinking wine in the Hao Tian Pagoda. He didn't use much energy in the battles during the day. His opponents were all killed instantly. They couldn't resist. However, he knew that there would be danger starting tomorrow. His opponents could only think of 2 ways. One was to attack Star Moon Lake and the other was to patrol and wait for him. Knight Sorrow felt that Donghao Mountain wouldn't dare to attack Star Moon Lake because they would have to face the wrath of the Mishti dynasty. Donghao Mountain was a giant in front of Star Moon Lake, but it was a grasshopper in front of the Mishti dynasty. Even if Donghao Mountain didn't dare to attack Star Moon Lake, Knight Sorrow still made the arrangements. Star Moon Lake's defensive array was fully activated. Jean Ling, Ice Dragon, and Xilie were in charge of the array. If the opponent attacked, they would resist first and everyone would retreat. Currently, in Star Moon City, other than the essential personnel, everyone had retreated. Some retreated to the Primal Chaos Domain to wait. Some retreated to the Misty Dynasty's former night mansion, which was now called Star Moon Lake. Those guarding Star Moon City were the core personnel. If there was a battle, they could retreat immediately. The defensive issue had been arranged. Knight Sorrow was thinking about how to not be trapped by the opponent. Knight Sorrow wasn't afraid. Donghao Mountain had 2 imperial emperors, but if he wanted to run, he had a huge advantage. He could enter chaotic space to run. This was the space-time domain's forte. In chaotic space, the space-time domain's power would be maximized. Other attributes wouldn't be able to do so. One night passed in the real world. Knight Sorrow gathered everyone. The difficulty of today's battle will be increased because the opponent might have defenses. Remember, don't fight too long. Today, the 3 teams can't leave my area of 5,000 kilometers. Once the area within 5,000 kilometers of the city lord's mansion is cleared, we'll go to the next city, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow, let me add something. Some cities have god-fiend castles and strongholds. You must avoid them, Datura said. Said Knight Sorrow. The second part of the update. Chapter 1687. Damn. I forgot to remind you about this. Brothers, don't touch the God-Devil Castle. You must avoid it. We can't afford to offend it. Don't die without even knowing how you died. Knight Sorrow slapped his forehead. Everyone nodded. Actually, everyone knew about the God-Devil Castle after being in the celestial realm for a while. After giving out instructions, Knight Sorrow left the Clear Sky Pagoda and entered the city. After entering the city, Knight Sorrow activated the 9-region origin pearl and used his soul power to scan the area. Yi Shang was very confident. His soul power's probing strength was definitely at the Imperial Emperor level. First of all, his divine sea was different from ordinary people. His divine sea was 1/3 larger than other cultivators. After advancing to the great emperor realm, Yi Shang had refined the flame of life and cultivated his soul power to saturation. He was definitely one of the best in the great emperor realm. With the help of the 9-domain origin bead, his probing strength was at the imperial emperor level. When he arrived near the city lord's residence, he scanned the area with his soul power. He didn't find any emperor realm cultivators. Night Sorrow's clone appeared and went to the teleportation array. His main body moved the people in the clear sky pagoda out and started killing. Everything went smoothly. After looting the target city, Night Sorrow led his people to the next city. After entering the city, Night Sorrow found an Emperor Realm cultivator. It was someone he knew. It was the great elder of the East Hao Mountain, Xian's father. Their clan was special. They didn't have a surname. Their names were all one word. He wore a black robe, and his eyes were completely white. After patrolling the area, he had been squatting in the pit. Recently, he had been very angry. His son had been killed, and East Hao Mountain had been slapped in the face. He needed to vent his anger on a killing spree. He was very confident. He was a peak 1-star Emperor Realm cultivator. According to the information he found, Night Sorrow had just entered the Emperor Realm half a year ago. He was thinking about whether he could meet Night Sorrow, not whether he could kill him. Night Sorrow also planned to make his move. If there was a big fish that he could kill, then he would naturally kill it. Only by killing the big fish would he be able to deal a heavy blow to Mount Donghao. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow decided not to let his men out. Only by dealing with this would the danger alert be lifted. He could not risk the lives of the people around him. Starter GR due to the difference in the strength of their soul powers, Yi Shang's soul powers had yet to discover any traces of Yi Shang. The main body and avatar separated. Night Sorrow's avatar went to the city lord's mansion to destroy the teleportation array to prevent reinforcements. His original body wielded the reincarnation spear and executed the void extreme point kill. He broke open the space barrier and controlled the clear sky pagoda to enter the turbulent flow of the void. Then, he reappeared and executed the space-time domain to protect himself. Then, he approached the teleportation array. Because he was near the teleportation array, he waited for news near the teleportation array. Once there was news, he could quickly teleport. Night Sorrow moved stealthily in the turbulent flow of the void and approached the teleportation array. The avatar in front of the teleportation array was a little flustered and upset. He did not understand what was going on, but he knew that it was not without reason. As an Emperor Realm cultivator, this situation was a warning sign. Just as he was frowning and thinking, Night Sorrow appeared. The void extreme point kill broke open the space barrier and entered the real world through the clear sky pagoda. Night Sorrow's spacetime domain erupted and suppressed Yi. Then, the reincarnation spear executed the destructive true dragon art. As the spacetime attribute entered the Emperor Realm and the destructive will entered the Monarch Realm, Night Sorrow's strongest technique was no longer the Great Emperor reincarnation slash, but the destructive true dragon art. A black halo enveloped Yi. The reincarnation spear carried a soul-shaking aura and attacked Yi. While the reincarnation spear in his right hand attacked, Night Sorrow's left hand blasted a punch at the teleportation array. The teleportation array collapsed and cut off Yi's escape route. Yi was shocked by the sudden attack. He did not understand why his opponent suddenly appeared. However, he reacted quickly. The green domain on his body erupted and resisted Night Sorrow's domain. However, he was still enveloped by the halo of the destructive true dragon art. Yi only managed to place his battle saber in front of his forehead. At the same time, his head flashed with light to resist the influence of the destructive true dragon art. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear pressed down by 1 foot and attacked Yi's chest. As Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear pierced through, a red armor appeared on Ye's body. The old emperor had a deep foundation. He had a protective armor of a higher level. Following a muffled sound, Yi was sent flying by Knight Sorrow's spear and vomited blood. The chest area of his armor was shattered. This was Knight Sorrow's normal attack after executing the destructive true dragon art. However, it still injured Yi. "It's you. You're the one who killed my son. You'll die." Yi retreated quickly and crushed a communication crystal at the same time. After this collision, Yi understood Knight Sorrow's strength. At the same time, he also recognized Knight Sorrow's aura. "I don't know if I'll die or not, but you'll definitely die first." Knight Sorrow waved his left hand and released everyone from the Clear Sky Pagoda. The original plan was to attack and then quickly gather in front of the City Lord residence. After injuring Yi, Knight Sorrow knew that he could completely suppress Yi and that his subordinates would not be in danger. Therefore, he released the god-slaying team. Although they wanted to watch Knight Sorrow's great battle, the members of the god-slaying team had a habit of carrying out orders first. After releasing the members of the god-slaying team, Knight Sorrow used the void steps and arrived in front of Yi. Then, he executed the destructive true dragon art. A black halo appeared and shrouded Ye's body. Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear vibrated again. The energy transformed into the void extreme kill and slashed towards Ye's head. In Donghao City, Yi was extremely anxious. He notified Donghao Yunjie and Donghao Ju. The two of them dared to come, but they didn't dare to move. Yi Shiwen's original body was being suppressed and attacked. If his clone went, it would be more dangerous. If his original body died, his clone would still be alive. If his clone went and still couldn't defeat his opponent, he would be completely annihilated and disappear from the world. Knight Sorrow's void extreme kill was extremely fast under the support of the spacetime domain. It pierced through the void and arrived in front of Ye's head. However, Ye's soul power was still quite strong. He blocked a part of the destructive true dragon art's influence and blocked the battle saber in front of his head. "You can't block it. Since we met today, you deserve to die." Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear pressed down again and attacked Yi Shiwen's chest, which had already been damaged. In the past life and death battles, Knight Sorrow would attack his opponent's spirit sea. He would break through whatever obstacles there were. However, he didn't need to do that now because his original body had appeared. The reincarnation spear had the power of reincarnation that could injure the soul. It would be enough as long as he could kill his opponent's body. Yi Shiwen sensed that Knight Sorrow's weapon had changed direction. He stretched out his left hand to block his chest and pushed forward. Even if he was injured, he had to block Knight Sorrow's killing move. While he was defending, his white eyes emitted light and shot towards Knight Sorrow. Soul attack. This was Yi Shiwen's talent. It was also the uniqueness of his white eyes. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's head emitted a golden light. The light was vast and majestic, and it was filled with a righteous aura. Knight Sorrow had activated his light of virtue to defend his spirit sea. Chapter 1688. Dumbstruck. After Zay's chest was pierced by Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear, he stopped moving. The meridians near his chest were all broken, and his spirit sea was attacked by a stream of energy that entered his body. Knight Sorrow swung his left fist and hit Zay's head. Shock force. Knight Sorrow's fist that was filled with shock force didn't shatter Zay's head, but the shock force entered his spirit sea and shattered it. Die. In just a few rounds, Knight Sorrow killed the Donghao Mountain's Great Elder. Latest chapter equals, Part 1 $. Subsequently, Knight Sorrow controlled the spacetime domain and shook it violently. The spacetime power intertwined and destroyed Zay's scattered soul force. This way, Zay's clone wouldn't have the chance to collect the remaining soul force in the soul box. After taking a look at Zay's corpse, Knight Sorrow kept it in a storage ring. After keeping the main body of the teleportation crystal that fell from the teleportation array, Night Sorrow flew towards the city lord's mansion. When Night Sorrow arrived, the massacre was still in progress. His clone had also merged with his original body. After his clone killed the Heaven Monarch, he didn't make any more moves. A moment later, the two groups of people returned, and the massacre was over. Night Sorrow used the Clear Sky Pagoda to keep everyone and activated the teleportation array disk. After arriving at the teleportation array outside the city, he teleported to the next destination. When Dong Hao Yunjie and Dong Hao Ju saw Zhe, their faces turned ashen. This great one's original body has fallen. It was killed by him. Let's quickly go and eliminate him. Dong Hao Ju's eyes were filled with ominous light. It wasn't easy to see Night Sorrow's shadow. Zhe didn't say anything. He knew that he didn't have any chance. The teleportation array was destroyed, and it would be difficult to arrive before Night Sorrow left. Night Sorrow had calculated all of this, but he didn't say anything because he wanted to take revenge. Right before the last teleportation, the teleportation formation was broken. Dong Hao Yunjie, Dong Hao Ju, and Dong Hao Yunjie teleported to the nearest city before flying away. This made them realize that there was no chance of catching Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow had no intention of stopping. This was his first battle in the celestial realm from the primal chaos realm. He wanted to make a name for himself by tormenting Donghao Mountain so that no one would dare to have designs on Star Moon Lake. When he received news that more cities had been destroyed, Donghao Yunjie was furious. They were flying and could not chase after him even if they wanted to. They could only endure Night Sorrow's attacks. A day passed. Night Sorrow brought his men and went into hiding again. The result was that they broke through 10 cities and killed an emperor. Donghao Mountain was on the defensive. Great Elder's true body was killed, and his clone was seriously injured, already unable to fight. In view of Night Sorrow's battle prowess, the second Elder of Donghao Mountain did not dare to separate from his clone. This made the area where they could hide even smaller. It was useless for Donghao Yunjie to find a fortune teller because the fortune teller could only see the battle scene. Night Sorrow's teleportation formation could not be found anywhere. After Night Sorrow's battle, he used a teleportation formation disk to leave. The teleportation formation he stopped at was surrounded by an illusion formation. It was impossible to use the environment to determine his location. The inter-realm teleportation formation also had a long teleportation distance. They were on the defensive. 2 days passed. 20 cities were destroyed, and the Emperor Realm Great Elder's true body was destroyed. Donghao Mountain had no way to deal with this. This shocked the Celestial Realm because Star Moon Lake was too powerful. No one could have imagined that they would be able to fight to this extent. Song Ning's true body was reporting the situation to the Ethereal Battle Emperor in the City Lord's mansion. The other elders and mansion lords were also present. Lord Battle Emperor, although Star Moon Lake used our protection to fight, such a result is also a display of our Ethereal Dynasty's prestige. The people of Donghao region hope that we will withdraw our protection for Star Moon Lake. This should not be considered. Luo Yuandao said. Because there was no target to attack, Donghao Yunjie's clone took charge of the situation while his true body went to the Ethereal Dynasty. He hoped that the Ethereal Dynasty would withdraw their protection for Star Moon Lake and give Donghao Mountain a fair chance. Lin Piaomiao did not say anything. She looked at Elder Lan. Since when can Donghao Mountain influence the Ethereal Dynasty's decision? Was there a need for them to tell them who to protect and who not to protect? They besieged Star Moon Lake. Why don't they think that Star Moon Lake is under our protection? Elder Lan stood up and said when he saw Lin Piaomiao's eyes. Elder Lan, you and Elder Luo will handle this matter. Make your attitude clear and tell them not to have any ideas about Star Moon Lake. Otherwise, the consequences will be even more severe than now. Besides, no one can deny Star Moon Lake's battle achievements. Without our protection, they can give up Star Moon Lake and continue fighting. Who will suffer more losses? Lin Piaomiao stood up, her figure flickered and dissipated. What came here was an energy clone. Mansion Lord Wufeng, your brother is powerful. Han Jinyue looked at Wufeng and said. My brother doesn't cause trouble. But if anyone provokes him, the consequences will be severe. Wufeng smiled. He can't stand being looked down upon and bullied. He will deal with whoever bullies him. He doesn't care who the opponent is. So what if Yuan Ji? So what if Donghao Mountain's Grand Elder is? They are all living examples. Zhang Ning said. Star Moon Lake is now related to our reputation. Someone must watch it in secret. Who will go? If no one, I will go. Elder Lon said. I will go with my clone. I, Luo Yuandao, don't have many friends. This matter has to be handled from an official point of view. From a personal point of view, I also have to take care of it. Luo Yuandao expressed his attitude. Elder Luo, this is rare. But there is no need. My clone is already outside Star Moon City. Zhang Ning nodded at Luo Yuandao. At this moment, she approved of Luo Yuandao. Then there is no danger. Let's talk, how far will this brat go? Lin Qixing looked like he was watching a show. Of course. He is good at scraping the ground. Gong Yufan and Mansion Lord Yang have already experienced it. Yuan Ji was even worse. Han Jinyue glanced at Yang Tianlai. Sir Battle Emperor is not going to pursue this matter. Can you not slap his face? Yang Tianlai was embarrassed. I don't think so. Wufeng said. Mansion Lord Wufeng, tell us your opinion. Luo Yuandao nodded. If Yi Shang has a conflict with anyone in the ethereal imperial city, he will consider the ethereal imperial dynasty's reputation and still have some sentiments. However, East Hao Mountain doesn't have this problem. So, the end result will be very tragic. If Night Sorrow is not captured and killed, then East Hao Mountain will be completely destroyed. Perhaps, only 2 imperial emperors will be left that Night Sorrow can't kill. Wufeng expressed his opinion. Yes. This guy can't tolerate sand in his eyes. After this conflict, Donghao Mountain's strength will drop infinitely. At the very least, it will be reduced. Elder Lon nodded. He agreed with Wufeng's words because he also understood Yi Sorrow. 20 cities under 2 skies. An imperial emperor's main body has fallen. This is a domineering battle record. He is acting like an imperial emperor. But I have to admit, he is really domineering. Lin Qixing said. He is my friend, an overlord recognized by Sir Battle Emperor. How can he not be domineering? Zhang Ning felt very proud. Chapter 1689. You can ask the owner of the Twilight Tea House. I'm just a tea drinker. Yes, a VIP tea drinker. Zhang Ning took out a VIP card and waved it around. The owner of the Twilight Tea House said that they don't give out VIP cards. If they did, would I still need to ask you? It's too embarrassing to bring my old mother to drink tea without a seat, Lin Qixing said with some hesitation. Is that so? For the sake of Auntie, I'll point you in the right direction. Who's the boss of the Star Moon Lake? Isn't it just Night Sorrow? Can't you solve it by asking him? You're usually very smart, but you're always muddle-headed. Zhang Ning reprimanded Lin Qixing. Lin Qixing was famous for being a filial son in the ethereal dynasty. Because of this, he had a good reputation even though he was a stingy cheapskate. Many thanks. Lin Qixing cupped his fists towards Zhang Ning. After receiving the ethereal empire's reply and warning, Donghao Yunjie returned to the Donghao Mountain. Actually, He had expected this answer, but he didn't expect to receive a warning that he couldn't touch the Star Moon Lake. After returning to the Donghao mountain, Donghao Yunjie asked Donghao Ju to withdraw the troops besieging the Star Moon Lake because this was the trigger. Donghao Yunjie felt that Night Sorrow would stop attacking if the troops besieging the Star Moon Lake were to withdraw. Withdrawing the troops besieging the Star Moon Lake meant that they had compromised and lost. Donghao Ju felt humiliated, but he had no way to stop Night Sorrow's attack at the moment. Donghao Mountain's troops besieging the Star Moon Lake were to withdraw, which caused an uproar. A new small faction with only one city was able to force the Donghao Mountain, which had 2 monarchs, to compromise. This was definitely unprecedented. The Donghao Mountain's Grand Elder's original body was killed by the Star Moon Lord Night Sorrow, which established Night Sorrow's position as the monarch of strength. Just when everyone thought that the Star Moon warriors would retreat, Night Sorrow led his men to start another massacre. In a single day, they took down another 10 cities. When the news spread, everyone was shocked. Some people thought that Star Moon Lake was pushing their luck, and that they would suffer if they were captured by Mount Donghao's main force. Some people thought that this was just courage, and that Mount Donghao couldn't just fight whenever they wanted. In short, there were mixed opinions. The situation continued. On the 4th day, the 5th day. On the 5th day, Mount Donghao lost 50 cities in a row. Even after collecting resources later on, Mount Donghao had lost more than 30 million Saint Spirit stones. If Mount Donghao wanted to recover to its pre-war state, it would take a considerable amount of time. It could be said that its vitality had been greatly damaged. Donghao Mountain had no choice but to send people to Night Moon Villa to negotiate, but they didn't even see Night Sorrow. However, Mandela's true body appeared and directly stated Yishang's intentions. This time, he wanted Mount Donghao to collapse. Star Moon Lake could fight for 30 years, 50 years, 200 years, or 500 years. They couldn't destroy Mount Donghao for now, but Night Sorrow was confident that he could cultivate to the monarch realm. In short, if Star Moon Lake didn't die, Mount Donghao would fall. Donghao Yunjie was furious. He didn't expect that his son's revenge would provoke such a crazy retaliation. Mount Donghao had compromised, but the other party wasn't done yet. On the 7th day of the war, Mount Donghao's second elder and Night Sorrow met. The second elder's original body and clone were both killed by Night Sorrow. This was a turning point in the war. Not only did Mount Donghao suffer great losses, but it also proved that Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of anyone below the monarch realm. Donghao Yunjie and Donghao Ju could only guard Mount Donghao and Mount Donghao City, not daring to go out. They were afraid that their base would be attacked, so they couldn't control the current situation. Donghao Yunjie brought Donghao Ju to Night Moon Villa to negotiate. Mount Donghao couldn't hold on any longer. At this time, Night Sorrow's original body also returned to Night Moon Villa. It was his clone that led people to fight in Mount Donghao. Both sides met at Night Moon Villa. A few important members of Ethereal Imperial City were also present. Night Moon Villa was a residence bestowed by the Battle Emperor, so no one could act recklessly. After meeting, Donghao Ju stared at Night Sorrow. "I've already retreated from the people surrounding Star Moon Lake. What else do you want?" "What else do I want? You're very self-righteous. Are you going to fight whenever you want to and not when you don't want to? That won't do." Night Sorrow's voice was very calm. "You're the ones who came to negotiate. Why are you acting all high and mighty? If you can talk, then talk. If you can't talk, then don't open your mouth." Datura's temper was quite bad. "Ju, don't be impatient. We're here to negotiate." Since Lord Ye's true body has appeared, it can be seen that he's not too willing to fight, Donghao Yunjie said. "Mount Donghao Mountain Lord, you are mistaken. Your Mount Donghao's monarch is gone, and I can't deny the fact that I can't kill an imperial emperor. Therefore, There is no need for me to use my true body and avatars to fight at full strength. In any case, if I encounter you, I will retreat and find another place to kill you. Isn't this a good arrangement? Night Sorrow said as he poured himself a cup of tea. Update square root max v fast 6 on 6 vv ha. Lord Yi, it's a good arrangement and a good plan. If Dong Hao Mountain loses, you can name your compensation. Dong Hao Jie waved his hand and interrupted Dong Hao Jue, who was about to speak. I don't want the war to end, but if you want to negotiate, I'll give you a chance. I want half of Dong Hao Mountain's territory, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's words not only stunned Dong Hao Yunjie and Dong Hao Jue, but also Luo Yuandao, Elder Lan, Wu Feng, and Song Ning, who were drinking tea at the side. Night Sorrow's words were too ruthless. You think I'm going overboard? Actually, I also think I'm going overboard. However, you guys have made me owe you a favor. This favor will be paid by you guys. Night Sorrow's eyes shone with a sharp light. In your dreams. Dong Hao Jue's eyes were bloodshot. The size of a territory was a display of strength and also the foundation of a force. Night Sorrow directly wanted half of it. Dong Hao Mountain couldn't accept it. Just treat it as if I'm dreaming. I didn't plan to negotiate in the first place. I just want to fight. My main body will come back and my clone will fight. This is the preparation for a long war. Night Sorrow smiled and didn't care about Dong Hao Jue's anger. Lord Yi, are you trying to make both sides suffer? Do you want to fight to the death? Dong Hao Yunjie didn't get angry. He was here to solve the problem. He knew that angering Night Sorrow was useless. I don't think so. Even if my doppelganger is destroyed, I can just refine another doppelganger. Don't think about killing my clone. That will seriously injure my origin. I have the confidence. Even if my clone dies, it's just a clone. I'm still me. As for you guys attacking my Star Moon Lake. First of all, I have the protection of Lord Battle Emperor. Moreover, almost everyone in the Star Moon Lake has retreated. Only a portion of them are guarding the lake with a defensive formation. You guys can attack if you want. I can even give it to you now. Tell me, what do I have to be afraid of? Night Sorrow sneered. After taking a deep breath to suppress his anger, Dong Hao Yunjie asked, You don't have anyone in the Star Moon Lake. Even if we give you a territory, you won't be able to rule it. Also, what do you mean by you owe me a favor?